chance today. They need a Jake Plummer that is healthy, a Jake Plummer that plays like Jake Plummer played last year, because you know the last two times these teams played, this team won. I mean, last time they played, that was in the playoffs. So they did knock them out of the playoffs. So Jake Plummer knows that he can beat him. They know that he can beat him. And then on defense, they know that they just have to stop the run and then go after Troy Aikman.
Now, the Cowboys went undefeated in their division last year. They beat Washington, so they're still undefeated in their division for the last 2 years. Yet I think people have questions about the Dallas Cowboys. What do you think?
I don't think there should be a heck of a lot of questions about the Dallas Cowboys, because to me, they're still one of the best teams in the NFL. And when they're really good is when that offensive line, that big offensive line, dominates the line of scrimmage and they run the ball with Emmitt Smith. Because once they get that going, then Troy Aikman can get the play pass going, the passing game going, and they really get in a flow. On defense, they get a big lift today in getting Deion Sanders back, because he is a difference maker. I mean, he makes them a better defense and he makes them a better complete team.
Coming up, it's the Cardinals and the Cowboys from Texas Stadium, and John and I will be back for the opening kickoff when Fox NFL Sunday continues after this local message. That game, Deion Sanders in the press conference afterwards said, hey, look, if I own this team and some of you guys played like you played today, I wouldn't pay you. You didn't earn your money. You don't deserve it. I don't know if he included himself in that or not.
Well, I'm sure he did include himself, and then the other players started talking about it and saying that you know, that it wasn't them and he wasn't talking about them, and he said, well, if you think that it's you, then it is you. And it caused a mini thing, not a big thing. It was a mini thing.
Well, it was the last game of the season. They were eliminated.
And you have a lot of time to think about that one.
He'll be going, kicks off to Mario Bates, who takes it at about the 1.5-yard line. Bates taken down by the Cowboys special teams. They always seem to excel. That was Isaiah Reese. The Cardinal offense, and this is the key to the whole thing. Number 16, Jake Plummer, who had 465 yards throwing it against the Cowboys out in Arizona last year. The offensive line, Clement Holmes, Graham, Dishman, and Joyce. Adrian Morrell is the deep back. Makovica, the rookie from Nebraska, and Boston, the rookie from Ohio State, start in the offensive setup. That's Adrian Morrell, and he got maybe two. Let's have a look at the Dallas Cowboy defense. Up front, it's Pittman, Alonzo Spellman, Chad Hennings, and Greg Ellis. Ellis playing very well. Coakley, Godfrey, and Hambrick, three very rapid linebackers. And the secondary, Deion Sanders back, George Teague and Darren Woodson, the safeties, and Kevin Mathis at the other corner. Mathis takes the slot receiver. And the handoff is to Morrell. And he's hit behind the line of scrimmage by Kavika Pittman first.
Now they come up with the first third down here. And one of the things that has really plagued Jake Plummer and the Cardinals in the first 3 games is turnovers. They've had 12 turnovers in the first 3 games, but they've had 6 of them in the first quarter.
And that would account for their slow starts in all 3 games, too.
And that's what Vince Tobin was talking about. He said, we just have to start, get off to a good start. Not a big start. We don't have to score a lot of points, but just don't give them any.
3 wide receivers and a tight end, Hardy.
There it is.
There's a turnover by George Teague, and Teague got in. Touchdown. He almost put it up too early. He almost put the ball over his head too early. Kevin Mathis is down. Deion Sanders overlooking at him.
And that's just what we were talking about. The first quarter, 6 turnovers. This is what has plagued Jake Plummer. This is what has plagued the Cardinals. And you see, they just try and get the slant. The ball is thrown perfect. And it just comes right out of McCullough's hands, then right into George Teague's hand.
And Teague almost celebrated prematurely. But the Cowboys get on the board nevertheless.
You can't blame Jake Plummer for that one. I mean, that was a a slant that was thrown in there. It was a perfect throw. McCullough had his hands too close to his shoulder pads. It hit his shoulder pads and just bounced right up, and George Teague got it.
That's Kevin Mathis, who went over to cover the slot receiver on the other side of the field, and Mathis went down.
And Kevin Mathis is the corner that plays opposite Deion Sanders. And as you can see there, Pat, Deion Sanders was the first guy that saw Kevin Mathis down.
Mathis, not a very big guy anyway. They're checking his knees. He's telling them which one.
All right, captains, we're going to have a coin toss now.
At Texas Stadium, Jake Plummer just threw his 10th interception of the year. Look at his quarterback rating, and that's going to go down. For the extra point, then Cunningham with Bjornsson holding. 7-0 Dallas. And that's the kind of thing, John, is Changeli. That's the kind of thing, John, that's plagued Vince Tobin and the Cardinals this year on all games. A slow start, as Kevin Mathis.
You can see they're checking his left knee. It was Kevin Mathis on that play that he was on Andy McCullough, and you're going to see him. He comes in, he's right here, and he's covering McCullough. You see the ball bounce up. Now what? He goes by and he runs into his own man. He runs in right there to Dexter Coakley, I think it is.
Yep.
He said he just runs there and gets his knee caught right up under his chest. And George Teague got that interception for a touchdown. That's the first one of his career.
Yeah, for Teague.
And he's been in the league for 7 years.
Yeah. Mathis, it appeared, just got kicked. He didn't twist his knee. So once he gets over the pain of the bruise, he shouldn't be too bad. Still being attended to. Walking around, though. 7-0 Dallas. And the Cowboys, Toby Goen set to kick off again. Mario Bates back deep for the Cardinals, along with Pittman.
If they walk around, that's usually good news. If they walk in, that's usually bad news.
Bates will not bring this one out, and the Cardinals will start from the 20.
And I think Kevin Mathis right there is walking in, so that's not the good news. They usually take him right in and check him. It's his left knee, and they can take his pants off and x-ray if they need or whatever they have to. And that's one of the precautions they take with most injuries now in the league.
Charlie Williams has taken his place, but remember, the Cowboys get Kevin Smith back also, I believe.
Yeah, well, you know, he practiced. I was out at practice, and Kevin Smith looked pretty good the other day. I thought that he could even start this week or maybe play, and then they put him on the inactive list. So he's not active today, but they expect him back shortly.
Plummer comes out of the pocket, chased by Ellis. Intended for Johnny McWilliams. Let's look at some of those inactive. We're talking about people being injured. Eric Swan, Rob Moore, James Dexter, Everett McIver, Kevin Smith. Eric Williams pulled a quadricep muscle being introduced last week.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. Didn't play it down. The pregame introductions, they introduced Eric Williams, Big E. He runs out there, pulls a quad. The rest of the team's coming out of the tunnel. He's going back into the dressing room.
Plummer, Morrell, a couple.
One of the things I know the Cardinals will be looking for here is getting some better field position so that they can throw some on first down. I mean, this is going to be a killer for this offense if they run on first down, run on second down, don't gain anything, and end up with a lot of these third and longs, because with only one real veteran receiver in Frank Sanders, this is a tough deal for Jake Plummer.
Mass substitutions for the Cowboys. Flags on the play.
Yeah, that's going to be on Anthony Clement. We talked about their injuries. He's starting at right tackle for James Dexter.
Prior to the snap, false start, 65, offense, 5-yard penalty.
And this is just typical of the way it's gone for the Arizona Cardinals. There's Mark Trestman, their offensive coordinator.
I was saying how tough it is to pick up a 3rd and long, and then their big old 355-pound tackle. He jumps off sides and adds 5 more to it. Now it's darn near impossible with this offense. I mean, a guy he has to go to right here is Frank Sanders, number 81. He's his go-to receiver on 3rd down.
Shotgun. Under pressure. Does get rid of it to Terry Hardy, who doesn't nearly get back to the line of scrimmage. He's taken down by Dat Nguyen. Greg Ellis in the hot pursuit as well.
He's talking to Chan Gailey. He was talking about Ellis, and he was saying right here that he's the guy that is doing the best job on this defense. And now they know. Listen to this crowd here. It's all about this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's leading the cheers.
Yep, 4 touchdowns, he says. They all get Rolexes. All these guys up here in front get Rolexes.
Scott Player back to punt it. Short, high kick. He won't have any chance with this one.
Well, the fans are booing that. They want to kick it to Dion. We want to see Dion, but it's still great field position, and there is a flag.
Downed at midfield by the Cardinals, but there's a flag on the play. Against the Cardinals.
It'd be interesting here. If you want to see him punt another one to Dion, you would make him punt again. But with this great field position,
I think you keep
I
it.
don't think you would do that.
You got the ball at midfield. No, I don't think you'd do that either.
I mean, Dion return, a real threat. That's nice. That's fun. But as you say, the ball at midfield, you got to take it here.
You'd like to see him run, but he'll have other chances.
The kicking team went out of bounds, but came back in, was the first to touch it. That penalty is declined. Timeout.
Bill Carollo is the referee. There's Big E.
He can come back in, but he can't come back in and be the first guy to touch the ball. So what he did was all right, except he can't go in and touch the ball.
So Troy Aikman leads the Cowboys out and hands to Emmitt Smith. The Dallas offense. Troy is 15-3 against the Cardinals. In front of him, Flozell Adams, Larry Allen, Stepnoski, Hudson, and Solomon Page, the rookie, starting in place of Eric Williams. Emmitt Smith and Tim Lester, the 2 backs. The Rocket, Ishmael, Irvin. 2 tight ends set up this time. Mike Lucky, one of the 2. Handoff is to Emmitt Smith. Emmitt gets forward for a couple. Let's look at the Arizona defense. Simeon Rice and Wadsworth, 2 of the better defensive ends in the NFL. Drake and Swinger, the 2 tackles. Zach Waltz, Ronald McKinnon in the middle, and Rob Fredrickson, who they just acquired this year. The other outside linebacker, Chavis, Lassiter, Enos Williams. Chris Warren takes Emmitt Smith's place, and Aikman drops back in the shotgun. It's Warren, who does not get a first down, only got a yard, stopped by Mark Smith.
I tell you, Mark Smith didn't get fooled on that one. What they try and do is they try and do the substitution and get them, think and pass and get everyone to rush the pass and then catch them with the run to Chris Warren. But Mark Smith just started. He saw that run and went right down the line.
Cody back deep for Toby Goins' punt.
This guy can be exciting here, this Matt Cody.
He can do some things.
He played up in Canada, and I don't know that he's going to get a chance with this field position to return this one.
High kick. He signals fair catch. Made it at the 4-yard line.
Yeah, at the 4-yard line. You're supposed to let those go. Those will bounce into the end zone.
Maybe that was good in Canada.
Those NFC rivalries from
New York at the Yankees, and I'm going to be in New York then. I think I may make that one.
You might be at that game. We might have you in a choice seat somewhere.
Well, I'll be live. Last time I was measuring those fastballs, I had that gun.
Yeah, I remember that.
There's a speed going about 92.
Is that scary?
Yeah, no, I didn't have to hit it.
Well, you were an old catcher, though.
Yeah, but they throw about 92,
former catcher,
93. I was an old catcher. And then I got so heavy you couldn't see three. So I had to become a football player. I had to be a tackle.
2nd and 9. Right now for an NFL update, let's go to Joe Buck in Los Angeles.
All right, Pat and John, just what defensive coordinators around the league did not want to see. Randy Moss had cried all week about not getting the ball. His longest reception of the year, 61 yards from Randall Cunningham. 7-0 Minnesota early over Tampa Bay. Back to Dallas. Pat and John, thanks for the work on the radar gun.
So it will be 3rd and 8 for the...
And Joe, it's 7-0 here, just like 7-0 there.
Joe was there. He saw me do that work on the radar gun. Hey, and Randy Moss has a right to complain when he doesn't get the ball. To me, he's the most exciting football player. Take the quarterbacks out. He's the most exciting football player in the league.
Jake Plummer, pass complete as he fired it going back.
Yeah, they got Jake
Frank
going.
Sanders.
They have Jake going back all the way. I mean, he's throwing none-yard passes. They can't get the running game going. They haven't had good field position, and they've been so far in this game haunted by the turnover that it's a 7-0 score.
That leads to a loss. All of those things.
This crowd. Deion's getting excited. The crowd's getting excited.
Deion's getting excited.
Deion only has half his chin strap on for this one.
He might have a chance with this one. And down he goes at about the 42-yard line.
Every return that they have is a middle return. Deion says there's always a seam. It's just getting to it. He didn't get to the seam.
It's a middle return because he makes it a middle return. Arizona nothing. First down, Cowboys. Aikman sends Tim Lester on the move to the right. And they blow it dead. Average starting field position. Arizona at their own 14. Dallas on their own 47. And neither team has made a first down yet.
Start. Number 89, offense, 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Starts 1st and 15. LaFleur.
One of the interesting things, we talk about Deion Sanders being a good corner. Well, Aeneas Williams is also an excellent corner in this league. And they put Aeneas Williams always on Michael Irvin. In the second game down in Arizona last year, Michael Irvin didn't catch a pass.
That broke a long streak he had. Aikman hits the Rocket Ishmael for about a 6-yard gain.
This is an area that the Cowboys really feel that they're a lot better with some speed to Rocket Ismail. That they can just get him the ball, and they have these short passes, the hitch passes. They have screens to them. They have reverses. They have a lot of things in this game plan and in this offense now to get the ball into Rocket's hands.
3 wide receivers set up. Bernie Mills is the third for the Cowboys. He usually is in the slot. That's LaFleur on the move, and here's Aikman. Pump fake and gets it to Ismail. First down, Cowboys inside the Cardinal 40.
That's not a bad formula either. They needed that for a long time. They always had Emmitt Smith, they had Michael Irvin, they had this, but they needed the speed. I mean, this guy that can press the defense and can make those quick moves, and then after he gets the ball in his hands is still equally dangerous. He's always thinking of making a touchdown.
John, the Cowboys thought that Aeneas Williams would play on Rocket, but he's playing every play on Michael Irvin.
Well, I think that Vince Tobin, had said over the years he's been beaten so much by Michael Irvin, he's still going to take him away.
That's Emmitt Smith down to the 35 to pick up about 3.
Emmitt Smith, tackle number 52, Zach Walsh.
Pat, you wonder why Troy Aikman has so much time. This guy right here, Larry Allen, is a big part of it. Watch, I mean, he blocks to his right, then he looks out and says, what else I got here? He sees Simeon Rice, and he said, hey, you aren't going to get there. I mean, Larry Allen is the type of guy that does things on the most plays that guys in their life never do on one
Knocked
play.
his own man down behind
He doesn't
Simeon
care.
Rice.
He doesn't care. Who's ever out there is subject to getting knocked down.
Emmett
You know, just
down
watch.
to the 30.
I was just watching just the way he fires out. I mean, you always want to, in the running game, you always want to get movement. Now watch the movement that he gets. And the movement you want is this guy going back that way. And it's going to create holes. But, I mean, he fires off, and they start on a double team. That's going to be the soft spot. Then he comes off and picks up another guy. But that really creates lanes. Anytime you can get a soft spot, then you're going to have a couple of lanes.
He's leading the offensive line, at least, in sweaty pants.
So far, I mean, this is still the first quarter.
Here's Aikman looking, second or third receiver, caught by Mike Lucky, who just was activated this week. And did he get enough for a first?
You know, Mike Lucky's a rookie out of Arizona, and I remember in training camp, I went to one of their preseason games, and they really liked Mike Lucky.
Yep.
And they like him as a blocker, and they think that they can play a lot more two tight ends. And with Moose Johnston out now, I think instead of playing another fullback, like playing Tim Lester or someone, I think you're going to see more Mike Lucky, see more two tight ends.
Mike Lucky is 6'6" and 273, so he's big enough to fill whatever bill they need.
That's a half a. Oh, is that a length?
Not even a length.
No, it's a first down.
Yep. Used to be a half a length. It's over half the half length.
Yeah, that's. You know, one of the things the Cowboys are doing now, we just see it right here, is as Mike Lucky goes out, Michael Irvin comes in. Michael Irvin isn't an every down player anymore on this Cowboy team.
And that's going to help him. He may not like it, but that's going to help him.
But see, we always see him come out here. Now here's Aeneas Williams out here covering. Aeneas Williams goes wherever Michael Irvin goes.
That's Emmett Smith, and Emmett cuts it up across the 25 down to about the 23. That's mostly Emmett.
Yeah, and they're going to make it physical too. I mean, Emmitt Smith ran across to the right. Michael Irvin and Aeneas Williams are still going at it. I mean, they were over here, and they just locked it. You know, we talk about all the time how Larry Allen hits. Watch this one. I mean, here's Aeneas Williams. He comes up and he just goes, whap, he just sticks his head right in Michael Irvin's chest, and they're going at. Now, remember, the ball is on the other side of the field. No one's told these two guys about it.
We better get them some horns.
Well, you know, they're two of the great competitors.
Yep. Here's Emmett again. Emmett flashes inside the 20 to about the 18. Enough for a Dallas first down. Emmett says he feels better than he has in 3 years.
I think this guy right here, Mark Stepnoski, makes him feel that way. I mean, you start with movement like that. Larry Allen and Stepnoski start on a double, and then Stepnoski takes over and Larry Allen can come up. Now, see the double there? And then he comes straight up, Larry Allen does, and he gives another push.
There's Mark Stepnoski. Boy, does he ever use leverage?
They talk about adding Rocket Ismail. Adding Mark Stepnoski was equally as big.
Aikman drops. Down the middle, touchdown. Michael Irvin. From Aikman to Irvin.
I'll tell you one thing about Michael Irvin. He is a tough guy. And there's no way that someone coming up and hitting him in the chest is going to intimidate him. Someone coming up and hitting him in the chest is just going to wake him up a little. You see how he gets inside Aeneas Williams, gets his hand up, pushes him in the head, then pushes him in the chest. That's what you call a pretty good double push-off. But you cannot intimidate Michael Irvin. I don't care who you are.
And he's been doing that push-off maneuver for years.
He's a master.
Yep. 14-0. Extra point by Richie Cunningham is good. This is a great throw and a great catch. That was right in the basket, wasn't it?
Last year, he only had 1 touchdown.
I know.
So far this year, he has 3. Last year was an off year for Michael Irvin.
Bates is going to bring this one out. Mario Bates Knocked sideways. In just 5 days, virtual reality becomes reality when Chris Carter, the creator of the X-Files, brings you the ultimate mind game. Don't miss the series premiere of Harsh Realm. Friday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on Fox.
The Cardinals have to think now, not worry about being down by 14 because they're always down, but they just have to worry about, trying to get a first down, get a couple of first downs, get something started that you can work off.
Jay Plummer drops and throws and misses. He said, when we spoke with him yesterday, that his thumb was just fine. If it's just fine, why is he wearing a bandage?
Well, he hyperextended the thumb. He said a defensive lineman grabbed it and just pulled it back. And it looks like that thing that he's wearing there is a brace so that it will be held straight where you can't pull it back the way he had the injury. But he's not throwing like Jake Plummer.
No,
I mean, he doesn't have the accuracy and he doesn't have the velocity.
Michael Pittman was in the backfield. That's Adrian Morrell, the ball carrier. The information we have on Kevin Mathis is that he has a sprained right knee and will not return. So Charlie Williams will take his place.
The thing you have to remember about Jake Plummer is this is only his 3rd year. I mean, Jake Plummer is still in the developmental stages, and a young quarterback is easy to frustrate. A young quarterback with an injury is really easy to frustrate.
He's going to look at a blitz coming here. And now they back out of it. It's still a blitz. Hits David Boston in the chest. It wouldn't have been amounted to much anyway. It's incomplete. They still don't have a first down.
You can just see the frustration mounting. I mean, he's coming here and he doesn't have a full deck anyway. I mean, he doesn't have a full deck to play with. His big play guy Rob Moore is out. He only has one real veteran receiver to throw to, and that's Frank Sanders. And of course, Deion Sanders is back, and the Cowboys know that as well as anyone.
Scott Player will do the punting. This one is certainly returnable. Deion cut down by Dennis McKinney.
Yeah, we talk about how the Deion coming back fires up his punt return team. It also fires up the punt coverage team.
Yep. The 1999 Division Series begins this Wednesday as Pedro Martinez and the Red Sox clash with the Indians in an all-out battle as each team fights to take step one closer to becoming this year's champion. Playoffs on Fox begin Wednesday live in prime time at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. 14-0 at Texas Stadium. The Cowboys lead. 3 wide receivers set up.
Aeneas Williams still down here on Michael Irvin.
Reverse to Rocket Ishmael. First down and more.
That's what we were just talking about a little while ago, that not only do they throw the ball deep to Rocket Ishmael, but they throw him to hitches, they throw him to screens, and they run him on a reverse just to get the ball in his hands, because he is their speed, he's their breakaway guy, he's their danger guy. And Chan Gailey loves to work with someone like that.
He needs to get the ball to him in some fashion.
And he moves them all over. I mean, he just doesn't put them out one place where you can zero in on him, but he moves them all over, puts them in motion, does different things with them, so you never know where he is or where he's going.
2 tight ends. Emmett Smith. Flag on the play as Emmett crawls forward for about 4.
And they're pointing towards the Arizona Cardinal side of the line. And then they're going to go against the Cowboys.
Bill Carollo.
The official came in and pointed to the right and called it to the left.
Illegal formation.
Illegal
on
formation.
the offense. Number 77 was at the end of the line of scrimmage and was not covered. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
That's Solomon Page.
Yeah, but that's not his fault. What that means is here's Solomon Page. He's the tackle. There should be an end out here. The receiver lines up on this side. There should probably be the tight end on this side or someone split out there. The tackle cannot be the end man on the line of scrimmage.
Strong left.
So they put it on Solomon Page, but Solomon Page had nothing to do with that. There was no problem with Solomon Page, who, by the way, is playing pretty well so far.
Yes, he is. Aikman has time. Throws short for Ernie Mills.
We look at Emmitt Smith and where they run so far. They haven't run to the left yet. They run to the middle quite a bit. I mean, that's where they have Stepnoski and Larry Allen, getting those holes 4 times. And with Solomon Page, the rookie starting over there at right tackle, they run over there 2 times, and you have to do that. That's a way to help a young offensive lineman, is give him some runs towards him.
A lot of that directional running is Emmitt Smith's choice. Ernie Mills in motion. Handoff is to Emmitt. He pushes things forward for about a 5-yard gain. It's still 10 needed for a first.
When you think of the Cowboys, I still think that's the strength of their team, is the offensive line. If that offensive line starts there, and if they dominate, then that means that Emmitt Smith is going to get his yards. It means that Troy Aikman is going to get his protection. Then if those things happen, even with this guy, Big Old E, not playing today, even without that, then they have the Cowboy offense.
4 wide receivers and Tris Warren in the backfield with Aikman out of the shotgun. Aikman just does get rid of it as he was in the grasp of Tommy Bennett, blitzing safety man.
Well, the Cardinals figured, what the heck, we're giving this guy time, and we know that if we give him time, and we're just going to get all up here on bunch, if we give him time, that doesn't work. So let's try the other thing. Let's blitz and get in his face and get someone right there. Bring the secondary, bring a defensive back, bring Bennett, do those type of things. Not give him time, because if he has time, and I always say this, that Troy Aikman is the most accurate passer in football, and if he has time, he'll do surgery on you.
Toby going back to punt. Cody back deep for the Cardinals. Last time he fair caught it at the 4-yard line. He won't do that again. And the Cowboys are going to save this one. And down it at about the 3. Jeff Ogden was down first and knocked it backwards.
So it didn't make any difference, did it?
That's right.
I mean, here he gives a fair catch signal, and then he lets it go. And the Cowboys are smart enough that they know that you get in behind that thing. And you get in behind that thing and throw it back in. Jeff Ogden made a heck of a play. I mean, getting up there, because if he comes in the end zone and throws it out, of course, it's a touchback. They get it on the 20. So he has to get that ball, get up in the air, and keep it out of the end zone, and keep himself out of the end zone while he's doing that.
Jeff Ogden came out for the warm-ups, his warm-ups before the game, barefooted.
You know why? Because he's a young player, and he's the last to get taped, and he wanted to go out and get warmed up, and they hadn't taped his ankles yet. There's Moose Johnston helping out now. Moose Johnston, the great fullback for the Cowboys, he's on injured reserve. He's helping out with the paperwork on the sideline.
I was talking to him before the game. He said he helps out with the substitution packages. Michael Pittman gets the carry and doesn't get much.
I tell you, nothing has gone right so far for the Cardinals. I mean, they've had the turnover. They're down 14-0. Their field position has been pathetic. I mean, every time they started, they've been looking at like 95 yards.
Yeah, that's the end of the first quarter with the score: the Cowboys 14, the Cardinals nothing. Fox NFL Sunday from.
Learn in this league in a hurry, Tim Couches. You're not as fast as those defensive backs. They get paid to be pretty speedy out there. They're 14.
I guess is putting it.
Pin that thermometer on that thing.
That's on the other side.
Yeah, on the shady side it's 80. On the sunny side it pinned it. It went up over 120. You can just see these people all below us that are on the sunny side. Every one of them is fanning themselves. That'd be tough to come to these games and sit in the sunny side, man.
Pittman is the deep back, and he gets the carry. Bring up a third down. First quarter statistics pretty dreadful for the Cardinals. -3 passing yards. Wow.
Yeah, you look in third down conversions, they're 0 out of 4. They haven't had a first down, and they had that one turnover that we have marked right there, and of course that turned into 7 points. Touchdown for the Cowboys.
Scored by George Teague.
And you know, you'd like to say that they ought to throw more on first down, and they should, the Cardinals, but they need better field position.
Plummer throws. That might be their first down. That's to Terry Hardy, the tight end, stopped by Godfrey.
We really like Terry Hardy. He's in his second year. He had a shoulder injury last year, and this year he came out and he beat out Johnny McWilliams, who had been the starting tight end. They lost Getty in the offseason, and they think that, you know, that Terry Hardy is going to be a real good tight end. I mean, both as a blocker and as a receiver.
1st and 10, Arizona at their own 15. It's Hardy who goes in motion. Plummer rolls, throws. He got Terry Hardy again. It wasn't Hardy in motion after all.
Yeah, that's the thing that Jake Plummer can do, and you know, and they're going to want to eventually get him doing more of that, is running with the ball. And then the thing that I always liked about him is he can throw from any angle. Did you see that one? He comes out, you know, he's running to his left, and he just kind of, you know, slinged it sidearm.
He's been compared to another number 16, but he got a long way to go before.
Not quite yet. As Charles Haley said, Jake Plummer's thrown more interceptions so far this year than he remembers Joe Montana throwing his whole career.
Michael Pittman, the carrier for a short game right now. For an update, let's go back to Joe Buck in Los Angeles.
At the Meadowlands, Kent Graham picked off Bobby Taylor 18 yards and a touchdown. Add a safety for the Eagles. Philly's offense hasn't scored a point today, and they lead the Giants 9-7, second quarter. Back to Dallas, Pat and John.
See, that's what happens when things are really going well, and you're up 14-0 and you're scoring touchdowns.
3rd and 4. Cowboys blitz. Plummer read it. The pass is incomplete. Good coverage.
Yeah, we talked about the things that Deion Sanders adds, and it's things like that, you know, that they can be more aggressive. And you notice that the Cowboy defense is when you have Deion Sanders out there covering, then you can gang up, you can bring defensive backs, you can put a blitz on, you can make the quarterback throw when he doesn't want to throw.
Teague blitzed and Woodson broke it up. Players punt this time, sailing to Deion Sanders, and Sanders took it straight upfield. Pat Tillman down to make the stop.
Right in their backyard.
It's a big old backyard, too.
It's a big old backyard for a big old Longhorn.
Aikman deep for Ishmael. Touchdown. Perfect strike as he had him.
I think they finally figured out that the best corner, Aeneas Williams, was on Michael Irvin. So that means that second-year corner Corey Chavis had to play over here on Rocket Ismail.
He's not normally a corner man.
Watch this, and he just throws it right up over Rocket's shoulder. Rocket has about 3 steps on Corey Chavis, and that's a touchdown. It took him a little while to get to it, but, you know, that was there the whole first quarter.
Yes, it was.
I'll tell you, that old thing, speed kills, is sure true. And speed also makes your offense a totally different offense than you have without it.
They talk about stretching the field. You just saw a good example of that. Cunningham's extra point is good, and the Cowboys lead the Cardinals 21-0.
It's the offensive line, but it's also a running back. You see how right there Emmitt Smith just got enough of the blitzer to push him by, and as Emmitt Smith did that, Troy Aikman stepped up, and then he threw a perfect pass to Rocket Ismail, who ran right by Corey Chavis.
Yes, he did.
Took him a while to get to that one, as I said earlier, but that was the matchup I think that they've been trying to move to and get to.
Ball got away from Michael Pittman and bounced back to Bates. Michael Bates knocked out of bounds at about the 22 into the kicking net. Next week on the Fox NFL Sunday, Battle of the NFC East as Deion Sanders and these Cowboys clash with the Eagles. Plus other regional action. Coverage begins an hour before kickoff with the pregame show at noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on Fox.
We just saw a shot where the Eagles are leading the Giants.
Yeah.
Did you see that interception we showed? It looked like Kent Graham looked at it all the way and was even aiming it. And that's what happens when a quarterback starts to lose confidence. He starts to aim.
That's similar to what happens to a pitcher when they get knocked out. Here's Jake Plummer. Incomplete. That was intended for Frank Sanders or in his direction.
And that's his go-to guy. And Jake Plummer just doesn't have the feel. I mean, he just doesn't have the touch. And you look at their first 5 possessions. You know, the first one, of course, was, you know, that start they started off, throws an interception for a touchdown for Dallas. And then they didn't have any they didn't have any field position. They haven't gotten anything going. And, you know, they try and run. They can't run. And now they've tried, as they did right there, that last play, throwing on first down.
Plummer. That's to David Boston, their #1 choice, the rookie from Ohio State.
You know, part of this is the Arizona Cardinal offense is not very good. I mean, they don't have a lot of the pieces you need to be a good offense. But another part of it is the Dallas Cowboy defense is playing very well,
and they've gotten better and better.
Yeah, and a little part of it is getting Deion Sanders back, because now they can bunch up, they can overload on things, they can gang up on other areas, and they are doing it so far.
Plummer has the ball deflected right at the line of scrimmage. Some of the Cardinals' problems, John, have been, well, some their own mistakes, some through injury.
Yeah, and that's what Vince Tobin was talking about. You know, he said, you know, what's the difference? He said, lost players to free agency. You know, had that car wreck, lost Ernest Dye. Lester Holmes is starting, just came back. Holdouts, they had those holdouts. They just signed their #1 draft choice. And you know, things have happened to him. Jake Plummer hurt his thumb, and you know, there's been a lot of negative things for this team this year.
Of course, one name is not on that list was a longtime Cardinal, Larry Centers, who's always been part of or was always part of their offense. 21-0 Dallas.
That's the old theory. Once is nice, do it twice.
Yeah.
You know, if you got it last time, come right back and do it. Here's what Rocket Ismail does. I mean, you just see the run after the catch. Then if you don't throw it to him, you can just hand it to him. That's a reverse. And then, as I said, speed kills. You just throw him the up. And that's the one that they've been looking for. That was the touchdown. Then they came right back with the same play on the same side against the same guy.
And we got the same match again. That's Emmitt Smith.
I tell you, you had a pretty good block there by Tim Lester, because you know, you have blitzes for run and you have blitzes for pass, and that was a run blitz. And the Cardinals guessed right, and they're going to blitz right in the hole. And you just watch Lester right here, number 34. He's going to have to pick up that blitz right there. Boink, right there. That's the thing. I mean, the Cardinals had the right defense. They guessed right. They blitzed in the hole, but Tim Lester, the newly acquired Tim Lester, picked it up and gave Emmitt Smith just a little running room.
Aikman out of the shotgun, has and gets it. Chris Warren out of the backfield. Chris Warren has always been a good receiver coming out of the backfield. A lot of times, in fact, when he was at Seattle, he was used to split out to wide.
Yeah, and I think Chan Gailey, as Chris Warren, you know, plays more and stays healthy, I think he's going to use him more as a receiver.
Yeah, I think so too.
And not only, you know, I'm going to split him out and put him in the slot, put him outside, and do all those things. And he'd like to also have a package where he and Emmitt Smith in there in a two-back situation.
Low snap.
Oh, that was a launch.
Hey. Fields Goins punt. And Cody, as we heard, can make some things happen. Flag on the play. He's still on his feet. Finally run down from behind is Cody by Toby Goen. Kicker's got some speed.
I'll tell you, as I said, when he put that up, I mean, that hung up there 4.6, and he launched that thing. And part of that is he kicked it 57 yards, and that's going to give the return guy a chance at a return. There's going to be a penalty on this play. It's going to come back. But it was still a heck of a run. I mean, Mac Cody is a little guy. You know, most of the
number 28 to the return team during the run back. 10-yard penalty. Receivers will keep the ball. Timeout.
Tommy Bennett is number 28. Call for the violation. Goen flashed a little athletic ability, running him down.
He did what?
The coach won't even bring it up because it declined.
So 4th down for the.
Scott does run into him. Brunell wants the call, wants the interference call. But that contact came about the same time that the ball arrived. But it was because of an underthrown pass.
On 3rd down from the 35, Brunell pumps, fires, incomplete. McCardell through his hands. And Lee Flowers, number 4.
Smith combining with Mark Edwards to make the tackle on special teams. 7-3 Browns.
Cute dress, Betty. Yeah, last season.
Hi, Betty.
WCW Mayhem. It starts in the ring. It just doesn't have to end there.
Oh my goodness! That was so rude.
4th and 5 here from the 35. They put it in the foot of Brian.
But it has been an impressive start offensively for the Vikings in the first quarter. Randall Cunningham with 3 touchdown passes, 2 to Randy Moss. 1 of 6.
That's up 2nd and 5 from the 40. Scott.
Kelso gets his groove on.
Eric, isn't your sister hot? I have pictured her naked hundreds of times.
What? All new That 70s Show, Fox Tuesday.
There's Toby Goen. Who says kickers are not athletes?
Well, I think he kicked it so far, and then the first tackle, watch here, Pat, he embarrassed himself.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what that was, but I think he got so embarrassed that this run is out of sheer embarrassment. And then it didn't count because there was a penalty on the play anyway.
Michael Pittman's the deep back. 2nd-year man. Spelling Adrian Morrell.
We saw Goen do that, and there are, you know, kickers can't do a lot of things. I mean, have you ever seen like a kicker that can kick and can catch?
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of them can't, though. I mean, there's not many people that can do that. I mean, usually if you can kick, then you're not a good tackler like Goen there. He's all proud of himself now, or you're not a good catcher. And I went out to the Texas State Fair this year, and I found someone that could kick and could catch. I really did. It's a rare combination.
Jake Plummer scrambles away from the Dallas rush and hits Frank Sanders.
I don't know where we'd get a uniform for this guy. Here he is, Pat.
Yeah.
Look at that catch, receive it.
All right, high five.
Huh? Look, high five.
Girl, get over.
Look, see the kick?
Yeah,
that's the kickoff.
He played the same time I did.
Yeah, the old elephant.
Yeah.
You can never have too many elephants on your team. It all started with old Toby Goen.
Yeah.
You know, if you stay around Texas, you never know what you're going to see. I mean, guys that can catch, guys that can kick, guys that can kick and tackle.
Plummer, his receiver was Makovica, and he slipped down just as the ball was on the way.
You know, Deion Sanders is down here in the bottom. He's really sucking for air. I mean, I don't think he's hurt. I just think he's tired. I mean, he's darn near bending over calling for Earl.
Well, you can work out on your own all you want to and think you're in shape, think you're perfect, and think you're wonderful, but there's nothing like being in athlete condition, football playing condition.
Yeah, that's a totally different thing. I mean, he said he's lost 8 pounds and he's all these things, but you know, playing in a football game at this level takes another level of conditioning.
At this speed, yeah. Here's Jake Plummer again. Drops it up to Adrian Morrell, well short of the first down.
You know, he could have thrown that ball to David Boston. I've always felt that there's an area, you know, that Deion Sanders won't run all the way with a cross. There's an area in the middle of the field where he stops running or chasing you, and to me, that's the area that they ought to hit. David Boston, the rookie, number 89, who was out here on Deion Sanders, you're not going to throw the ball to him on Deion, but there is an area that you can do it.
Took a little too much time.
Look at Deion there. The way he, after every play, he just bends over and he's just trying to trying to get some air.
He doesn't go into the defensive huddle.
Right, and snap. Full start.
Never has.
65 offense. 5-yard penalty.
Called
Remains third down.
against left tackle Anthony Clement.
Yeah, that's Anthony Clement just starting, you know, at the tackle for James Dexter. It's the second penalty he's had called against him. Like you say, Deion Sanders normally doesn't go into the huddle, so that's nothing new. But he's going back as far as he has to cover and just kind of stand there. It takes him a while. He's just now getting back to the line of scrimmage.
He's got Boston by himself now.
I think he has some new energy.
Incomplete. Intended down the middle for Sanders, but that had no chance.
No, and Jake Plummer's timing is off because, you know, Frank Sanders is his third down guy, his go-to guy on that third down, and Jake Plummer and Sanders, and well, this whole Cardinal offense, to be honest, isn't insane.
You know, Mark Trestman, you just saw a minute ago, Scott Player's back to punt to Deion Sanders. He may not want to be returning punts much longer. But he was saying, Trestman was, that when he first came back this year, Jake Plummer looked so good, in such good shape. Sanders lets it, bounces into the end zone, and then he got hurt. Just continuing that thought. Then he got hurt, and he never has been able to come back to where he was.
No, and then he's gotten frustrated, and he's starting to press.
It's a Fox Big Cinema Sunday. After the season premiere of the world's funniest, he's an officer, but he's no gentleman on King of the Hill. Then the Simpsons need an exorcist. And Futurama goes Animal House. Followed by the X-Files. All starts tonight at 7 on Fox.
Did you watch that elephant kick? I mean, did you think that was pretty good form or not so much?
Well, I watched.
It was a straight ahead kick. It wasn't a
it was. But he didn't keep his head down.
Well, yeah, I mean, but he had the basic form. Other than that,
basically
kept everything in the ground. And you know, he's a young elephant. I mean, they didn't go. He's only 19 years old. Good catch.
With tusks like that, he's not a young elephant.
Yeah, well, they said 9 years old. Fox said 19 years old. See that?
Yeah, that was okay.
I mean,
onside kick, but it was okay.
No, that thing went. I mean, it looked like, but he kicked it right out of the front. I mean, that ball went 78 yards. No, it did. I counted it.
You were there?
Yeah.
That's the Tim Lester.
You know, the fullback in this offense doesn't get a heck of a lot of bones. Remember Moose Johnston, and you know, for all those years being the blocker and doing all that tough work in this Cowboy offense. And every once in a while they just hand him the ball and it would be a big thing, or they'd throw him one. And there's Moose Johnston, one of the good players of these Cowboys, one of the guys that Emmitt Smith says he misses more than anyone.
Oh, he said Emmitt just really lit up. He said, how do you replace in 3 weeks what I had for 9 years in front of me?
And he said the communication was never talk. It was just no. It was just feel.
Aikman complete. Enough for a Cowboy first down.
See, if the Cardinals don't blitz, then they give Aikman too much time. You know, we talked about, you know, this makeshift right side of the Cowboys, and they're doing an excellent job over there. I mean, they have Solomon Page playing right tackle, the rookie, and then they have Tony Hudson playing right guard. And these two guys are doing a good job over there.
They are.
That last one, I mean, Troy Aikman just sat back there like he was on a porch in a rocking chair.
Hit Jeff Ogden for the first down. This is Emmitt Smith again.
One of the things that they were worried about was playing Solomon Page on Andre Wadsworth. You know that Wadsworth would have too much speed for him, and then he would frustrate him, and then they'd have to help him and all those things. And I haven't seen him do a heck of a lot out here for Solomon Page, and I haven't seen Andre Wadsworth do a lot either. Andre Wadsworth is one of those guys who has great speed.
Solomon Page playing across from him in training camp played guard most of the time.
Yeah, remember the game we did against Denver? He was the starting right guard. McIver was injured down.
Aikman just barely got the ball to Smith. The Cardinals had a blitz going.
Well, you see Tommy Bennett up there, the strong safety, and that's the only way that they've been getting any pressure on that line of scrimmage is with the blitzing. But then you know what happens with the blitzing. Then you got man-to-man coverage, and then you get man-to-man coverage. You got Rocket Ismail, and they can't cover him. So those are the. So, you know, you say why don't they blitz every play? Well, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea, but they are in man-to-man coverage when they do it.
Well, they got 4 wideouts. The Cowboys do.
Oops, he got him on the hard count.
Yeah, he did.
If he didn't get his own guy.
He might have gotten his own guy. No, I see him clapping.
You know, Troy doesn't show a lot of emotion anyway. I mean,
No.
that he could do that same action that could be against his own guy.
Full start, 73.
But it is.
Offense.
It was.
Larry Allen.
His emotion. Let's listen to what a hard count is. Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, they called number 73.
They called Larry Allen.
Larry Allen, but if the defensive guy moves first or comes into the neutral zone or flinches, they have to call it on him.
Aikman up into the pocket. Wheels it outside to Chris Warren. Warren knocked out of bounds. After a pickup of maybe 6. Chavis and Tom Knight knocked him out of bounds.
I was just saying, if there's anything that the Cowboys offensively haven't done well in this first half, it's 3rd and long conversions, but that's getting to darn near be impossible in this league. You know, with all these nickel situations, dime, you know, sub packages, 3rd and long is darn near a dying breed of being picked up.
Here's another one of those efforts by Toby Goen.
A launch, and then a missed tackle, then a tackle. You think again?
Good snap.
No launch.
No, that was not as good as the last one. Return's not as good as the last one. The Cowboys 21, Arizona nothing. Neither team has looked particularly sharp.
Yeah, I think it's hot out there.
Yeah,
I mean, I
it
think,
is.
you know, because both teams look loggy and they're starting to look tired and all that stuff. And you know, here's an official explanation of Deion Sanders' toe injury. It wasn't a turf toe. It was a hyper-dorsiflexion injury. Then they operated on it. Here's what they did. They tightened the capsule. They removed a bone in the toe. Now you have 2 floating bones in your toe. They took one out, and they also removed a bone spur. So like he was telling Pam Olive before the game, I mean, that wasn't just a stubbed toe or a toenail.
Those bones in your toe are supposed to be floating?
Yeah, 2 of them supposed to float. I think they're called sesamoid.
That's good.
I mean, I preface that with I think. You have 2 floating bones in your toe, and they took one out.
Flag on that last play as Adrian Morrell took the pass from Plummer.
Yeah, Jake Plummer is trying to get something going now, or Mark Trestman, and calling the plays. And again, you know, it's mixing up first down. That's exactly what they have to do.
Holding 54 prior to the pass on the defense. Automatic first down, 5-yard penalty.
You know, there's another. You talk about home field advantage. We look at these sidelines. The Dallas Cowboys are in the shade. When you're playing here in Texas, that's a real advantage. And the Arizona Cardinals are in the sun. As we show the thing, it's 80 degrees over there And then you look over here on the Cardinals side, and it's 120.
The visiting team in the sun, the home team in the shade. I think that's a pretty good plan. Offensive coordinator Mark Trestman.
They even got the coach's sweat.
Yeah. Plummer drops the throw. Screen pass called. Morrell.
I think, you know, when you look at, you know, quarterbacks and young quarterbacks and the Cardinals are now going with their no huddle. You see, he's just starting to call a play up there in the line of scrimmage. But
right.
I still believe that Jake Plummer is the real deal. I mean, this guy's going to be a great NFL quarterback.
2 minutes, Vic.
Yeah, we're going to get the 2-minute drill. They tried to hurry things up, get another play off before it was over, but the official ran him to the side. 2 minutes left in the first half.
Football, he's not used to having that type of time as a quarterback in the pocket.
Chris Gardocki has never had a punt blocked during his NFL career, now in his 9th year. Gets this one off. Troy Brown catches at the 43. Patriots will have good field position as he crosses midfield into Cleveland territory and down at the 48. A 44-yard punt from Gardocki, 8-yard return for Brown. And the Patriots, despite that turnover, still in pretty good shape. Coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report.
3rd and 13 with 1:07 to go before the break. Pittsburgh brings 4. Brunell goes deep right side, intercepted, picked off, and lateral back to Deshae Townsend. It was intercepted first by Travis Davis, and then he lateraled the ball to Deshae Townsend.
And Mark Brunell obviously took a heavy hit, and Tom Coughlin can't believe his veteran quarterback threw a football at this stage of a football game into this type of coverage. Double covered, the safety just sitting there waiting for it. Travis Davis, there's the lateral, but this is just an awful throw by Mark.
Handoff on a spin move, Terry Allen remaining on his feet as he crosses.
The wedding you've been waiting for, and a goodbye.
Down run for Allen. Is this one coming back?
There is no foul for a face mask penalty on the play as the runner was tackled by the shoulder pad.
Get that 2-minute warning, everyone goes to the shade. There wasn't anyone during that timeout on the sunny part of the field.
Including the officials. 2nd and 5. Plummer from the shotgun. Jake Plummer gets it across the middle, doesn't get a first down. It's Andy McCullough who made the reception.
And now the Cardinals will go with their no-huddle offense. Jake Plummer gives the play to the offensive line first, then the back second, and now he's telling the receiver.
And he'd like to have the ball snapped with at least 20 seconds left on the play clock. And he's going to get it done. Comes out of the pocket and fires incomplete. Intended for, he was pressured first by Spellman.
And you can just see the look of frustration. I mean, you know, Jake Plummer is a heck of a quarterback and competitor and all those things, and he's trying to get stuff going. He just doesn't have all his tools today. Deion's trying to get a little oxygen for one more return. I don't know that he's not hoping for either a fair catch situation or one that goes into the end zone.
No fair catch. Deion running in circles.
Deion doesn't have any gas.
No. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris will have the first half analysis. Joe Buck and Ron Pitts.
Well, that's the key for this New England offense.
10 receptions, 143 yards. Shotgun on 3rd and 6. The flip catch made by Tony Simmons.
Port. They're getting ready.
Yeah, Howie's down there. He looks hot. Heck, he didn't even play. Well, I don't know. Maybe he did play. He could have.
Howie?
Yeah, he could still play. Oh yeah, Howie was one of the best. I mean, Howie was one of those guys that could play any defensive line position. He could. I mean, he could line up at end, tackle, nose tackle.
He didn't play for you, did he?
No. He played for the team that I coached after me.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the all-time best because he could do it all. I mean, he could play the run, rush the passer. But
could he kick?
Huh?
And
no,
catch?
he couldn't kick and throw. And then the other thing is that elephant could block him. He couldn't bull rush that elephant. Now he could get around the elephant because he used to have that move. Remember that move that he made? He could do that move, but he couldn't use the bull rush.
Well, he couldn't get around the elephant's ears.
No, yeah, but I mean, he'd just go like that and just use his speed.
And now Howie's hot. Chris Collinsworth, you saw just a minute ago.
Yeah, see, they're getting lined. You know, in the pregame, I looked down there. They had a screen in front of them. I don't know what the heck that was all about. See now.
You know who that was? Norm Bulash was talking. Remember him?
Yeah.
Play with the Colts?
With the Colts, yeah. Played against him.
Played at TCU.
You see Chris Collinsworth had to cover up those guns. I mean, his arms are so big.
Collinsworth?
And they're all natural, too. That he can't keep them exposed for a long time. People get jealous.
You've been in the sunshine too long.
No, I was just watching him cover him up. Did you see us rolling down and butting him because people, he doesn't like teamwork. There's so much power under that man's sleeve that he can't keep it exposed.
Howie's you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about this guy.
No.
Chris Collins. No, I wouldn't lie.
He was a wide receiver for Cincinnati and a good one.
He was a quarterback.
Quarterback in college, and a sprinter.
Yeah, he could run.
Oh boy,
he could run. Look at him. See, they get themselves all hooked up.
Well, he's built for running, and this guy, I don't know what he's built for.
I'll tell you, one time he was built for quarterback.
Yeah.
Terry Bradshaw, you know, we played against him for years with the Oakland Raiders. And, there are scramblers like Jake Plummer's a scrambler and so on, and Troy Aikman is a big guy. But Terry Bradshaw was a big guy who could scramble. Toughest quarterback to tackle.
Tell me this. I was talking to one of the makeup people before the game, and she said her job was to take care of Terry's hair. How could that be?
Well, we played him once. We played him once in Pittsburgh. And we knocked his hair off.
Hey, a lot of time, all the time he can imagine. And finally, he couldn't find anyone and just threw it away.
Yeah, and they're going to flag him for that too because he threw out of the pocket. You can throw the ball away if you're outside the tight end zone. He was inside the tight ends or in the pocket, and he threw that ball away, and they're going to penalize him.
You know what? I was just looking at. There's Chan Gailey. I was just looking at Terry getting ready for the half, and he.
New England Patriots, they get him the football, but he's going towards Terry Glenn. They've got to connect.
Knocked it off.
We knocked it off. It had a helmet. We knocked his helmet, and then the
Then we'll take a timeout.
That must have been a bizarre sight.
Well, yeah. But I mean, there was his head wasn't in the helmet, just the hair.
That wasn't in that famous game, was it?
What they're discussing here is whether to take the penalty or not because it was an incomplete pass.
Intentional grounding, number 8 on the offense. That penalty also includes a loss of down. It'll be 4th down at the spot of the foul.
That's severe.
The 10-second runoff is declined, and the result of the play will be 4th down for Dallas.
See, now here's the box, and if he is in this box right here, he can't throw the ball away. If he were to get outside where the tight ends would line up, he would be able to throw it away. You see, he's in the pocket, and there's no receiver out there. Now,
he just had too much time.
I think, I mean, he had great protection, no one open, good coverage by the Cardinals. I think that's a bad rule. I mean, I think because they just ought to let the guy throw the ball away. I mean, that would.
That's hard to fault. Everybody did a good job.
Yeah, it was good coverage. There was no one open, good pass protection, And, you know, that clock goes off in his head, and he said, I've had this thing long enough. I got to get rid of it.
Here comes Cody again. Wrestled out of bounds, taken out of bounds by Robert Thomas.
Would get behind their team.
Professor. No professor I ever had, but somewhat.
Lead. So this is a big play for the Cleveland defense.
The officials are huddled up right now as we are New England timeout and another challenge.
Fan.
That's when you know you've made it.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate. Oh, I don't like what I see them doing to Howard. No.
Maybe
that to a lineman. No, don't show that. Okay. Whew.
Did she use spray net too?
I don't know what, but I know that's an ugly sight, my man.
Plummer. Go ahead and play and spot the football, and let's continue the game. They're disrupting the pattern, the course of the game for the players at this point.
And the thing,
looking at.
He starts out here. He's going to come out to his right here. Looking to his left. Now he comes out to his right. But see, he's still a runner with the threat to throw the ball, and that's very, very dangerous.
He looks like such a little guy when you see him in person. They listed.
And I don't, you know, I mean, some guys.
Still in search of his first win as a head coach in the NFL.
After reviewing the play, the ball carrier made the line to gain. First down.
They will give him the first down.
Snake was great. I had great quarterbacks. So I was blessed with.
Chris Palmer's over there saying, what are they doing to me? We made a great play on defense to stop him, and all of a sudden instant replay comes involved.
It was a lot like Troy Aikman in his accuracy.
If you're in there, you're in the heat of battle. Offensively, you're clicking. You want to go down and make things happen. All of a sudden, boom, somebody from upstairs says, hey, we're going to stop the game because maybe the spot was off. I don't agree with that.
On the flip side, though, final drive of a game per se.
Here's Jake in the pocket. And the
job at what they do. This should be used as a tool, not a cure-all. Instant replay is a tool.
8th play of the drive, a 3 tight end set for New England. I don't know if we're ever going to see this play.
And this is exactly what I was talking about. Disrupt.
Guys running from the sun into the shade and the shade into the sun, and those are tough. It's not easy playing here. There's Isaiah Reese, the backup safety of the Cowboys.
He wasn't limping. David gets the call.
They are correct on that.
They are correct on that, but the story should be the
exhaustion, dehydration, those type of things.
That's exactly what happened to Isaiah Reese.
Terry Allen in the backfield. Tony Carter sets up as a 4th tight end. On a 1st and goal inside the 5. Patriots looking for the lead. Carter the motion man. Handoff Allen. Spun down.
Offensive guys that get it. A lot of times it's the special teams guys that get it.
Here's Plummer. And the pass is caught by Sanders, who calls immediately a timeout.
He said, I want you to come over and sign with New England.
As out there, he's been moving Frank Sanders all around trying to get the ball to him. Here he is right here, and you see, and he just splits those 2 defenders, and Jake Plummer, who really hasn't been on this whole half, throws a perfect pass in there. Watch that one. I mean, there's a very small crack in there to get that ball, and that's what happened when a defender doesn't look at the ball, is looking at the receiver. You have an opportunity to. Look at Charlie Williams. He has his back to it, and he doesn't know where the ball is. Frank Sanders sees it, and the ball goes right over his shoulder.
Coach the motion man. Bledsoe throws the ball in the air.
Yeah, he's exhausted. In fact, he didn't even go for that one there. That went to Frank Sanders. I think he's blaming himself for that one because it was over Charlie Williams' shoulder, but Dion was in a position where he could have made a play for it. This I would think has to be a pass play.
Mario Bates is deep. Jake fires outside.
Now a 3rd and goal. Cleveland with a lead. Bledsoe throwing. Incomplete.
Because they've done it. They let him sit in there, and you know, with no timeout.
Play by Lenoy Jones, the linebacker. He's searching out the running back right there, going across the middle. Number 22, Terry Allen, the ball is thrown, but Lenoy Jones.
At the end of the game, and it could have been pass interference, but it wasn't.
Top with his left hand and deflects the ball away from running back Terry Allen.
Patriots will try to cut into the Cleveland lead. A 21-yard field goal attempt. Flags come down. Adam Vinatieri bangs it through.
Tell you one thing, in this last 2 minutes, it's taken about 15 minutes.
You're right. Penalty was against the Browns. Have to see what the call is. Patriots want an automatic first down.
12 men on the defense. That penalty is declined.
Joe Green was the first guy that ever did that.
Why did he do that?
Now, what he did is so that he'd play Jack Lambert right behind him. And Jack Lambert only weighed about 210 pounds. And so you were able, if Joe Green stayed out, you were able to come off and get on Jack Lambert. Then when they put him in that gap, that center guard gap, it took 2 to block him.
The guard and the center
right,
had to block.
and then when the guard and the center would block Joe Green, there'd be no one on Jack Lambert.
I thought everybody was going to let it go. Jeff Ogden finally picked up the ball. 7 seconds remain in the first half. Dallas 21, Arizona 7.
Yeah, and the Cowboys have to run a play here because the automatic timeout change of possession.
Would they have a trick here, or would they just kneel down?
I would think after what just happened, the Cardinals just scoring, I think, and the fact that they really had everything under control, I don't think that they're going to want to do anything that could cause stupid. So I would say that they're just going to kneel down and end the half and go on in.
That's what it looks like, and that's what happens. So George Teague put the Cowboys ahead with a touchdown interception on the first pass thrown by Jake Plummer, and it was 7-0 Dallas before we got settled or anyone got settled. And the Cowboys added 2 more touchdowns. The Cardinals just got one. It's 21-7 at Texas Stadium. The Cowboys leading the Cardinals.
Places you've never been.
Now, anybody that's ever played long enough has had a burner, or what we call stinger. It's
Andy Katzenmoyer making the stop. Clock continues to move, and that will do it for the first half of action.
But look at the 233 yards mustered by the Vikings in the passing department.
Well, that's the key. And again, that goes back right here. That goes back to the lack of pass rush. Really, Randall Cunningham hasn't been touched, basically. He's been able to go back there to pick and choose.
and they get the team in the end zone. Right now, the Rams have outscored their opponents in 3 ball games in the first half, 66-6. They've been dominant so far, and they've shut down the Bengals.
First down from the 30. Blake to the air right away. Maybe not. Keeps it. Slides down to the 35.
But they still trail 7-6 at Cleveland. And we look at baseball, bottom of the 4th inning, a 1-0 Pirate lead over the Mets as the Mets try to get into the playoffs. And Marv Levy, I'll ask you, can they find another guy named Billy Joe to go play quarterback for the New Orleans Saints?
They got him right there, Billy Joe Tolliver, and there are probably more in the wings. But the loss of Billy Joe Hobart is going to hurt them.
Well, Mike Ditka makes his return, and we will make our return out to Soldier Field in Chicago. Second half coming your way. The Saints and the Bears right after.
For Detective
King in a big way, the rookie from Tulane, who is the 3rd quarterback on the team behind Eric Zier, who he acquired from Baltimore. There is Sean King from Tulane, and glowing terms, and Tony Dungy saying, I think he's going to be a great one someday.
Well, and he'll have to wait his turn because, 11 out of 16 here in the first half for Dilfer. That's nothing to sneeze at. He started off a little shaky, but they've given him some time. That touchdown pass, that was as good as it gets. I mean, he bought time with the pump. He knew where he had to go. He recognized the whole thing. That's what they need. They need that consistently if they're going to do anything. And then what Pam asked him earlier, when she asked Tony Dungy about how do you generate a pass rush, he really didn't give an answer. And I think the answer that you're going to get is what we're going to see here in the second half, because there's only a couple ways you can do it. You can do it with your down 4 people just getting after them, and clearly that hasn't happened. Or you're going to have to bring an extra guy and blitz. And when you do that, you take chances.
Chidi Ahanotu, you saw there on the bench, 4 sacks. Sapp out of action has 4 sacks. But let's take a look at Randall Cunningham and his passing distance-wise so far.
Well, the plan was to stay deep in your zones and make him throw underneath. And, well, 7 out of 8 under 10. Not bad. 8 out of 11 down below. It's not, I mean, having a great day. The biggest thing with this is this, as I'm writing it, no pressure. And also, when you look at that, you got no sap. You can see he's talking here to Pam. Pam's trying to get a pass rush out of him. He can't do it when he's not in uniform. If you look at Warren Sapp, though, if you look at Warren Sapp right now, he's physically different than he was a year ago. Lost 40 pounds. He's one of the rare guys in sports, specifically in the National Football League, who'll talk about himself if they don't do well. Usually guys, they won't say anything if they do something wrong. Talking to Warren Sapp, he says, look, I was a fat slob. I was out of shape. I didn't play well. I got to do better than that. I'm a better player than that. I like that in a player.
And they miss his 4 sacks. This is a very impressive defensive line. But, you know, you miss Sapp and you miss White, Steve White, the defensive end, who's gotten off to a great start.
You see, Dick, you look at Warren Sapp and they start talking about sacks, but he's more than just a sack guy. And he makes everybody in that line better.
Bo Williams returning the kickoff for the Vikings, and we start the second half. But David Palmer has bruised ribs. They evaluated him at halftime and decided he is finished for the day. So Palmer, who was such a big weapon last year in the backfield besides his returns last season, not that durable, and Denny Green talked to us about that the other day. So Palmer is lost for the rest of the game.
And the thing to remember with him is it's a long season, and so you'd rather take him out here, let him get a little healthy so you have him for the long run.
Ball at the 25-yard line. The Vikings leading 21-7, as Tony Dungy told Pam Oliver, we're fortunate to be down by only 2 touchdowns. Here is Robert Smith going up the middle. Smith, who carried 7 times for 28 yards.
Jake the snap. And that brings up a 4th down. And Mark Brunell stays on the field. Nope, now he's going to head off.
Well, you just can't praise this Steeler defense enough. Just nothing at the point of attack. James Stewart doesn't have a prayer at getting back to the line of scrimmage. And this is yeoman's work by the Steelers defensive football team, but it's really surprising that we've seen this little from Jacksonville offensively. They're supposed to be better than that.
Barker puts it up high and toward the corner, and my goodness.
That's an A+, go to the head of the class. It doesn't get any better. And guess who?
Reggie Barlow. Terrific downfield coverage by the man who just returned the kickoff. 55 yards.
These are your final numbers?
These are our final numbers.
What do you think, Jack? It looks pretty good from this end. I never thought you guys could pull this one off.
Have we ever let you down?
Not yet. Hey, weren't you supposed to go away for your anniversary?
Oh, you know us. All work, no play.
Great job, guys. Well, back to the grind.
Thanks for the opportunity, Jack.
Nextel's i1000 Plus comes with a crystal clear speakerphone, so you can take care of business from anywhere. Nextel, how business gets done.
Now through October 31st, save $100 on our newest phones.
On Monday, October 4th, giving thousands of kids a brighter future will be as simple as this, because it's
the players. They trail the Cowboys 21-7 here at Texas Stadium as we welcome you back to the Visa halftime along with the full house. Cardinals, Terry, have allowed themselves to be outscored in the first quarter 52-0 through the first 4 games. Not the way you want to get started here at Texas Stadium.
No, when you start backed up like you are, JB, too many bad things happen to you, primarily because you're limited in your offense. Notice back around the 25-yard line, throwing the quick slant right off of Andy McCullough out of the USL in Europe. There you have it, intercepted by George Teague, returned for a touchdown. Throw by the slant, you live by the slant, and I think John Madden agrees you die by the slant. You got to get the football out. You can't keep throwing it like that, but you're restricted what you can do, Chris.
And I don't know what they're doing on the offensive side. Deion Sanders is coming off of major toe surgery, and they have not challenged him at all in the first half of this game. They threw one pass over there right at the end of the half, and they had success. And as far as their play on the defensive side of the ball, their cornerbacks are no match whatsoever for these Dallas receivers. Every time the Cardinals try and blitz, they get in man coverage and they get burned. And the main guy has been Rocket Ismail. About 70% of the time that Troy Aikman sees man coverage, he's going to the Rocket. And what a difference the Rocket has made on this Cowboys football team.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Deion Sanders has to return a number of punts in the first half, 118 degrees on the field in the sun. And the point about Emmitt Smith that people don't make enough about, and John Madden pointed out on that bomb to Rocket Ismail, is his blitz pickup ability. Emmitt Smith might be one of the best halfbacks I've seen in a long time at picking up the blitz. If he doesn't pick up the blitz on both those touchdown passes, they are incomplete passes or sacks.
All right, fella, adjustments in the second half for the Cardinals.
I just think you do. I think Chris has made a very good point.
A good-looking pass play, just a simple little hitch pattern by Lyons, who squats and makes a big target. Of course, at 6'5", 260, tough to miss him. Didn't look like much, but that's a big play for Pittsburgh offensively.
They slip the ball to Jerome Bettis, and he heads to the left side, gets out to the 20-yard line. Bryce Paup and Seth Payne collaborate for the tackle. Now Bettis with really modest numbers in the first half as well, averaging 1.8 yards per carry. Now with 20.
This was absolutely no blocking for him whatsoever. Even when he tried to make something happen in the passing game, nothing there. And you know what? Keep in mind, think back to the first play of the game. Jerome Bettis ran the football, and Bryce Paup got him for a 4-yard loss. Opening play of the game.
Bettis picks up a quick 4 on this carry. Tony Bracken's number 90 makes the stop for Jacksonville.
And as amazing as it seems, this is just about the best offensive drive Pittsburgh has had all day. They've actually made yardage on first down. They've completed a couple passes.
It is their longest drive. They've moved 29 yards now, and that is the longest drive put together by the Steeler offense.
They're on fire.
Stewart with a play fake. Finds his wide receiver out to the 37-yard line. That's another first down. Hines Ward. First year as a starter, second year as a player. The multi-talented Hines Ward from Georgia, who was a third-round draft pick last year.
The question would be, what position didn't he play when he was at Georgia? The answer is on the offensive line, and that's about it.
Gain of 8, first down and 10, 7-3, Jacksonville with the lead. They'll try Bettis up the middle again, and not much there. Larry Smith, this year's number 2 draft pick, second-round draft pick, that is, made the tackle. There's Larry Smith. They expect him to move into a starting spot before long. Very bright prospect from Florida State. No gain on the last play, 2nd and 10. Play fake. Stewart scrambling. Now puts it down. He'll run. Fumbles the ball. And Bruner never saw it. It was at his feet, and Jacksonville recovers.
Tobin, what do you tell the Cardinals?
Well, I think that right there at the end of the half, when they scored a touchdown, I think that was a big thing. I mean, they won a couple no huddles. They changed the pace. That's what they did that for. Jake Plummer, made a run. Remember, on the scramble, got a first down. Then he come back and he hit Frank Sanders in there. And I think that you just take that and you say that we had a lot of negative things happen to us early. We had some good things happen to us just before halftime. Remember, we were down to this team 28-0 before, and we came back against them. So, 21-7 isn't bad for this team, for Jake Plummer, and what we're doing. And I think they'll just do that. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't give Corey Chavis some help on Rocket Ismail, or maybe even move and put Aeneas Williams over on Ismail.
Well, it is hot and not getting any cooler, so that's going to be a factor before it's over. The Cowboys will receive the second half kickoff as Jeff Ogden, who's going to take it at the 5. They lead 21-7. And right now, let's go down to the sideline and DJ Johnson.
I talked to both coaches at halftime. Vince Tobin said that his team is playing hard. He's really happy with their effort, but they just need to correct those little mental mistakes. Now, in the second half, he said they need to get the momentum. They got it at the end of the first half, so they need to come out and have a good first series. And after that, he said they should be on the right track. The heat, they said, doesn't bother them. They said this is what they practice in every single day, and this, to them, is just like another practice.
Thanks, DJ, but it may be not a factor, but it sure looked like it was in the first half. This is Emmitt Smith. And Emmitt passed the 30 up to about the 32-yard line. Let's go back again to DJ.
Speaking of Chan Gailey at halftime, Chan simply said that their team hasn't run the ball well. He said the passing game has not been too bad, but if they're going to keep this lead in the second half, they need to establish the running game. He said Arizona got the momentum at the end of the first half. The running game will help get the momentum back. That should be their game plan for the second half. Back to you, Pat.
2nd and 3. Emmitt Smith again. Emmitt stopped by Andre Wadsworth.
And one of the things that we talked about in the first half that the Cardinals are doing is they're using run blitzes, and that's part of the reason that the Cowboys haven't run successfully, because they're blitzing their run and they're getting in the gaps and they're hitting them pretty well. And you can just see right here, you see they get up there, they get the middle linebacker right in the line, and they hit him at the line of scrimmage. Now that time Emmitt Smith did a good job of running, and they got some good blocking. But
and Tony Hudson did a good job in front of him.
And the theory of the Cardinals is to blitz the run.
First down, Aikman will throw it outside to Robert Thomas. A flag on the play. Thomas started off this season as a linebacker, had some speed, had some blocking ability, so they moved him to fullback. So now he's a combination linebacker fullback. This is going to be holding against Dallas.
Yeah, and that was one of the ways that he could make the team.
Number 89, offense. After the completed pass during the run, it'll be a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, first down.
That's David LaFleur, the tight end, who was doing the holding after Robert Thomas caught the pass. This is what Troy Aikman did in the first half. You can see he really hasn't worked the left side of the field. Under 15 yards, he's 4 for 5 in the middle, 1 for 1 deep, and then 1 for 2 right. That's a touchdown to Ismail there, and 3 for 4 under 15 yards to the right. So most of his throwing in the first half was in the middle of the field and to his right. Like that.
That's Robert Thomas. And he barrels, breaks a tackle, and that's why they put him there.
Where'd that linebacker come from on offense? One of the reasons they moved him there is because he's a good special teams player, and they thought that by having an extra fullback, they could carry him as a fullback, and they couldn't carry him as a linebacker. But I'll tell you, he runs like a linebacker, fullback, runaway truck, whatever the heck you call that.
John, just checking.
That man got loose.
Rocket Ismail has not come back yet. He's not on the Dallas sideline, not in the game.
Yeah, and we saw him leave early. Remember, before halftime, he went in.
Aikman gives to Smith, stops in the hole and breaks a tackle, breaks another one, and gets a first down.
And we talked about Thomas and being a fullback, linebacker, runaway truck. Let's listen to it. It always looks a lot better than it sounds when you do that. But from up here live, that sounded a lot tougher than that.
The truck never really got going, never got hit. At least if you base it on the sound.
No, but you could hear it from right here.
Yeah,
it was
with your raw ears.
Down there, raw ears.
Here's Emmett. Looking for room, getting into Cardinal territory. Down to the 40. And here comes Rocket. He was, we're told, dehydrated. He came back. He got treatment during the halftime.
So what they do is they give him one of those intravenous things.
The hangers.
Fluid in him. And so he went in early to get his, because there's probably, in that Cowboy locker room, there was probably a lineup for the hangers.
I bet.
Rocket went in and got his first.
What's that on the end of the ball?
Looks like chewing tobacco.
It does.
I think someone spit on the ball.
It's illegal.
Stepnoski is snapping a spit-upon ball. Good, it's a run. That was a run.
Emmett Smith. Right now, for an update, let's go back to Joe Buck in Los Angeles.
All right, Pat, one of the many weapons for St. Louis is having a career day in Cincinnati. Oz Hakeem, his third touchdown of the day. This at the beginning of the third quarter. 84-yard punt return for a touchdown. Little hurdle at the end. 28-3 St. Louis, and you have to wonder if the Rams are for real. Back to Pat and John.
I don't wonder anymore. They are for real. Thomas and Emmett Smith, and this Aikman swings out to Ernie Mills. Dallas first down near the Cardinal 20.
You see where Corey Chavis is playing him, and after you're beaten deep and you get beat on an up or something, then a corner, you have to have a bad memory. You have to put it out of your mind. But you see how deep is? I mean, he's playing way too far off, and he's not playing aggressively enough. You see him back up, get turned, and he's giving way too much cushion. I mean, if Corey Chavis plays like that, they can throw that pattern all day out there on him.
Ismail's back on 1st and 10. He split wide to the right. Aikman gives again to Smith across the 20, or about to the 20. Excuse me.
No, I was just saying, we talk about Rocket Ismail and the speed and the things, and it was interesting yesterday talking to Emmitt Smith. One of the things that he brought up that Rocket brings to this team that he hasn't had from that position as a blocker.
Yeah.
He said, they don't talk about it, but anytime I'm going to get a big run, I'm going to have an end block. And he said, Rocket, surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, is a very good blocker for a wide receiver.
Well, they've been talking about somebody to replace Alvin Harper ever since he left here. And Ismail comes close. Pass is up the middle to LaFleur, who couldn't shake the defender.
This is Troy Aikman's big thing. I mean, he really believes now that in Michael Irvin and in Rocket Ismail, he has the outside receivers, he has Ernie Mills and so on. But he said if we're really going to have a top passing game that's going to be championship level, he says our backs and tight ends have to win their battles in the passing game.
And even he still talks about how much we miss Jay Novacek, and that's been a long time.
Well, sometime he has to forget that, and LaFleur has to come through for him. All kinds of guys jumped offside.
Aikman knew he had a free play, went deep to Michael Irvin. Incomplete.
Troy Aikman is using
with Glenn on that sideline. That's probably a miss.
And then as you get, it's the second year under Chan Gailey, second year with Chan Gailey's offense. And the longer you get it, the more comfortable you get. Then you can do things.
90, defense. It's a 5-yard penalty.
He's a guy that you never really know.
Where he's supposed to look out to the flat, turn his focus, and go down the field with the football and go for all the marbles.
8th play of the drive. And a 4-receiver set on 3rd down and 6. Out of the gun, Bledsoe stepping up and throwing right at the marker. Catch made.
Believe me, those defensive linemen hear it a lot better than we do.
Well, they're just up there, and they're in that stance, and they want to get off on the ball. They want to get rushed to quarterback, and any little thing that moves, they're going.
Aikman lobs it out to Ismail, and Ismail gets into the end zone.
That's that screen pass.
Touchdown.
That's that screen pass we were talking about, the different ways that they get the ball to Rocket Ismail. It's funny, they get it to Rocket out there, and his leading blocker was Larry Allen. They had the left guard pull out there like a screen. Watch Larry Allen. See, here's Rocket right here. See Larry Allen? He goes out there. He's going to be the lead blocker.
See the way Aikman threw that pass?
Well, he just looped it up over. I mean, Aikman could throw any kind of pass. I mean, that's pretty good running by Rocket Ismail. Very poor tackling by the Cardinals.
And the handoff is to Emmitt Smith, and Emmitt's going to score. Emmitt adds to his rushing touchdown record every time he scores.
Yeah, that was what Chan Gailey was telling DJ Johnson. We have to get some running game going. They started the run, then they got that screen pass out there to Rocket, and then they end up with the run for the touchdown to Emmitt Smith.
Chan Gailey was talking about his game plan, his play calling philosophy. He said the odds are, if you saw it last week, you won't see it this week.
And the stuff you see today, you're not going to see next week.
That's right. And the Cowboys add to their lead. It's 28-7.
Here's Edwards trying to find running room and finding it. And Mike Hollis, or Lindsey rather it is, who kicked off, who made the tackle. But a 44-yard return. And as we went to break a moment ago, Bill Cowher urging.
E-tailers. And travel October 5th through March 31st.
Come down. Man, I'm doing the same thing as you. Why don't you come over here? I mean, the Miller Lite is ice cold and so smooth. Oh, come on, man. From where I'm sitting, the Miller Lite tastes great. Yeah, but the women are prettier over here. Trust me on this. I find that very hard to believe.
And you guys call yourselves detectives.
Miller. The roast sandwich. And by Midas. Go safely. Go Midas.
Low-scoring game here in Cleveland with the Browns.
Powerful Silverado.
In the third, John Yurkovich appears to be okay, was able to walk off the field on his own. He is replaced by Marcus Spriggs on that defensive line. This is a 2nd and 8 for New England. Line of scrimmage is the 12. On a pitch, Terry Allen. And
the offense for New England, they've got to get more penetration downfield on the outside perimeter. That's a toss play. When you've got a toss play to the outside, your fullback Chris Floyd, once someone
Big Tex.
Where Terry Allen possibly could have gotten a first down or scored. That's just communication between the two backs in the backfield running that toss sweep to the outside.
The Browns defense has answered the bell on a number of occasions. Can they do it again on a 3rd and 1? First down.
Bates lets it bounce out of the end zone. The Cardinals will take over at the 20-yard line. 28-7, Dallas.
Chris Floyd gets a great block on this play on the outside on Marquez Pope. Nice job, head-to-head, boom, right there, knocks him to the outside, slams it up in there. But that's how you get first downs. You got to have a tough fullback that's got to go in there head-to-head and make a path for your running back.
So it'll be 1st and goal for New England. Patriots are looking for their first lead of the day. Give it off, Terry Allen, cutting to the outside. He's in. Touchdown, Patriots.
Directly with one another.
To the left side for Bettis. And he struggles to get to the 50 and then to the 49-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd down.
67 pulling around 63. He throwing pulling around there. Touch.
Be direct. Dell. Dell servers use Intel Pentium 3 processors.
Who can solve this?
Didn't come to training camp until the tail end of the preseason as he got himself ready for regular season action. He was signed the week of the 3rd preseason game against Tampa Bay. And he has...
Hi, hon. Now see what happens when you listen. It's like that fear he had of cauliflower wouldn't go near the produce section.
Call us and see the light for yourself.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
(28-7). Dallas over Arizona. 7:52 left in the 3rd. Deion Sanders again out by himself. The right corner, his first game back this year. The Cowboys coming off a bye. Deion's going to the other side of the field. Take Frank Sanders, you think?
And he's doing that, and he's taking the slot. And those are two things he doesn't do a lot of. Go to the other side of the field, and more important, take the slot.
Plummer. Greg Ellis first. Kavika Pittman. Finally, Darren Hambrick.
There's Emmitt Smith's touchdown, and you look at how many touchdowns he's scored against the Cardinals. We're going to have to change that right now to 24, most of any team. Look, there it is right there. You know, he is so quick. I mean, he's not real fast, but he's very, very powerful.
Plummer chased by Pittman. Darren Woodson, Charlie Williams come up.
He knew when he saw Darren Woodson coming, he better get down. And you know, one thing the quarterback can do with the ball is he can always pump fake that. And even when he's beyond the line of scrimmage, I mean, it's funny how often football players will go for it. When he's beyond the line of scrimmage and he's running, and he has the ball in his hand, he'll still pump it at the guy, and usually the guy will stop,
and it works.
Down, or sometimes jump up in the air. Here's that Cardinal no huddle. They're doing that now to change the pace.
And Jake Plummer pointing to say who I want picked up. He doesn't get them all picked up, and he just barely gets rid of it to Adrian Morrell.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really works when it works. But at 3rd down, you go no huddle, and then if you don't get the first down, then you just come over the sideline and stand by your coach.
Coming up, Arizona's 8th punt.
Look at Deion Sanders. He's trying to figure out the sun there.
That's what we were talking about earlier, about how tough it is to see the ball come down.
The ball's going to be coming out of the shade, as you can see. He's going to have to look up into the sun.
Deion handles it. Gets away from a couple and gets up to the 40. That's his best effort of the day. Stopped by the The Cardinals on defense. Aikman drops to throw it. Pass complete to Ernie Mills, beg your pardon.
Old Troy Aikman's pretty good. There's going to be a penalty on this play, and it's going to be against the Cowboys. But well, if he has time, he can just stand back there and look so great. It's going to be a tripping penalty.
Touch you to pieces.
Yeah, I mean, he just throws that ball. I mean, Mills was
3-yard field goal attempt. Patriots hoping that Adam Vinatieri, who has been perfect this season, can extend the lead. Kick is on the way, and it sails off to the
10-yard penalty.
Solomon
Replay
Page.
first out.
You know, that's usually what you do when you don't get your feet in position.
No, when
you usually have your, you usually get in trouble with your hands or with tripping.
Yeah.
When you don't get your feet in good position.
Usually that's a sign you might be beaten.
Yeah, and and he's playing against Andre Wadsworth. He's playing against a speed guy there. Just match up right here.
Floor goes in motion. Cardinals come on a blitz, clean.
And you see what they did on that one? They dropped Wadsworth out of there, dropped the end out of there, and then brought the outside guy. And old
Zach Walls.
Yeah, Solomon Page was just standing there with no one to block.
They called Aikman again. Intentional grounding.
Well, I think they called roughing the passer, didn't they?
Well, I'm not sure yet. He didn't look happy.
Personal foul.
Yeah,
roughing the passer.
You're right.
Spearing the quarterback. Helmet-to-helmet contact. Number 52. Be a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot.
That was Zach Walls, and that was the guy we're talking about. He's going to come off here. See, now here's Solomon Page. He drops here. He comes here. And it was a pretty good blitz. It was a pretty good scheme because he comes in free, and he just hit him helmet to helmet. That's what they called it. It was a little late, and he speared, and he hit helmet to helmet. So they got him. Oh, Zach Walls. He doesn't like that. He's out of Dartmouth. I mean, he's one of the few Ivy League starters in this league.
At least he ought to be able to argue well.
Well, but they got 3 things on him in that deal.
Here's Emmitt Smith. Out of bounds at midfield.
You know, as you watch this game, I think you realize that the Cowboys are coming off a bye, so they've really had 2 weeks to get ready for this game, and they kind of look like it. The Cardinals played on Monday night, so they're playing a short week, and they've had to travel, and they kind of look like that. If any of that makes sense.
Oh, it makes sense to me.
Look where Emmitt Smith has run 9 times in the middle, 4 to the left and 6 to the right. Other times they're pulling Larry Allen when they run to the right. They're pulling him from the left to the right to lead the play.
Flag on the play.
The
whole series
full start. 22.
Has been sort of out of sync.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Well, that's on Emmitt Smith. Now, a back can go in motion, but he can't go forward. So that's what if he, and sometimes a back will start to move, then he'll run laterally and he can get away with that. But if he moves forward before the ball is snapped, that's illegal motion. If he goes sideways and he's the only guy going in motion, then that is legal.
So it's second down and 11.
Here's a run blitz.
Yeah. Aikman throws. Pass caught. Ernie Mills again.
And they picked up that blitz. That was the old split 6 where you have 2 guys coming up the middle and they cross. And they did a good job. See what they're going to do is they're going to come right in here and cross on Stepnoski. Stepnoski comes down and he takes one. And then Tony Hudson takes the other one. They do a great job of picking that up.
You just watch Mark Stepnoski and his mechanics and look at the people that he looks at and checks and gets a piece of.
You know, he's so good, and because of the things that they do on that end, then they can do the things that Ernie Mills is doing on the other end.
3rd and 1. Ball's loose. Cardinals are signaling, and so are the officials that they've got it.
Well, they had a good hold. They had a pretty good push in the middle, and someone just came in and just punched that ball out of Emmitt Smith's hands.
They had a first down. Tommy Bennett comes up with it for the Cardinals. And Aikman and the offensive unit will get a rest. They do look like, on both sides of the ball, the Cardinals, that they had a short week. 28-7.
Scooped up by Terry Kirby, if indeed it's ruled a fumble. Andy Katzenmoyer.
Plus the Cowboys leading 28-7. Cardinals after that fumble recovery. 1st and 10. And the handoff is to Adrian Morrell.
They can't get anything going with the running. Here's the fumble. We'll see Rob Fredrickson is right here. He's the outside linebacker, and he's going to come from that outside. Now watch him as he comes right in here. Right there, you see him take his left hand and knock that ball out of Emmitt Smith's left hand. It was Rob. You see him. You're going to see his hand come right in there. There's Rob Fredrickson, number 59, who just slanted from that outside right down the line.
And got that hand in there. 2nd and 11. Plummer to throw. Pass is incomplete.
You know, one thing I noticed about Jake Plummer, Pat, he doesn't have that thing on his thumb anymore. Remember that that brace or that bandage thing that he had to protect his right thumb? If you look at him here, he doesn't have it. He had it at the end of the half. Remember when he threw the touchdown pass, he had it on then. And I really felt that was bothering him. His thumb was bothering him, that everything was off. And he probably went in at halftime and said, I've had enough of this.
Take it off. 3 wide receivers. And Plummer out of the shotgun, steps up, steps around, and now chased by Pittman. The pass is picked off. Pass intercepted by Dallas by Dwayne Hawthorne, I believe.
Watch him here now. He starts to come out there, and then he's going to scramble, and then it is Hawthorne. Hawthorne was darn near out of bounds.
Yeah, he was in the shadows.
He was in the shadow.
Yeah.
He came out of the shadows and intercepted it.
28-7.
But Smith were over in the shape.
Yeah.
This is 1st down. They just got the ball, and they know they're going to have some work to do in this series.
There's Emmett again.
Well, we talked about all the stuff that Rocket Ismail does and how they're trying to get him the ball. Here's just taking a short pass, and he makes a long run out of it. Here he is on a reverse. We saw him throw him one and hand him one in reverse. Here he is, and the thing that he probably does best is get deep, get behind a corner. And here they throw him a screen pass. And he gets behind Larry Allen there and almost makes a touchdown.
He's pretty happy.
Well, he's happy to have Rocket Ismail.
Yeah.
You don't see Troy Aikman smile during a game very often.
There's Emmett up to about the 30, where he is knocked backwards. Jake Plummer has had a tough day.
Well, you know, he has, and I think that, you know, part of it goes back that, you know, we said earlier, it doesn't have a lot of receivers or a lot of experienced receivers.
Rob Moore was his big guy.
He's not getting a lot of protection, and I think that thumb is bothering him more than they let on. I mean, you know, and he tried that brace on there, and that didn't work. He took that off at halftime, and
Which way are you going?
You know, still came back and threw another interception. That's not working.
4 wide outs, and Chris Warren back next to Aikman. Here comes the blitz. Pass complete. Michael Irvin. Remember, John was talking about a bandage or a brace on the right hand of Jake Plummer before the game. This is during the warm-ups.
Yeah, and then, you know, he has a different grip in the ball, too. See, he kind of has 2 fingers here, and then he has a split. Then he has 2 fingers here. They all go across the laces, behind the laces. And again, this is what we were talking about here, that he had. That was in the pregame, and he had that also all during the first half, and he doesn't have here in the second half.
Thomas, the fullback. Chris Warren, the carrier, has the ball knocked loose from him. Knocked out of bounds, I think. I'm not sure Warren ever had a control of that.
You know, we were talking about that run blitz. Ronald McKinnon, the middle linebacker, was blitzing, and he was coming up the middle, and I think that distracted Warren. if we watch that, you'll see McKinnon is going to come right up the middle. It's going to be a pitch back here, and I think that was distracting right there. I think he saw that action in the middle just as the ball was snapped, and he never got his eyes on the ball.
I think the last person who had control of the ball was Aikman when he took it from center. Second and 13. 4 wide receivers. Here's Aikman. Steps up, and he's going to run. Stretches out to about the first down marker. Rob Fredrickson made the stop.
There's a Cowboy down right there, too. In fact, it's Tony Hudson. We always talk about linebackers' eyes. This is a definition of linebackers' eyes. Here's Rob Fredrickson. Just look at him. I mean, he has a bead on Troy Aikman all the way. He's looking back to see where he's going to set in his zone. Then once he starts to run, he just zeroes in on him. As I said, that was Tony Hudson down on that play. He's starting and has been doing a good job for the regular starter, Everett McIver.
Right there with me. That last push cost him 15 yards.
So now the line of scrimmage is the 38-yard line of New England. The Browns are on the move thanks in large part to Willie McGinnis. In the pocket, Couch. Able to dump it off, Kirby.
Have to play him so that, he can get rid of that pulled quad and go on from there.
There's Myslinski.
Yeah, they either have to go, if they don't go with Eric Williams, it'll be Myslinski. Well, they don't have to. They could go with big old Helly. Hellestray played some.
As I say, they have to.
A week ago. No, but I caught big old Helly in there. Helly talked to him the other day. He's been on a diet.
Yeah, he's lost weight. I don't think.
Well, he's lost like 8-10 pounds, but he said he hit a wall. Big old Helly hit a wall, and
wonder where he hit it.
He just ran into it. He just ran into it stomach first. That's the way you say hello and stuff like that. But Helly's just drying himself off, cleaning up. But I don't think he's going to go in. I think he's cleaning up to
snap.
Yeah. And I think you're right. It'll be Tom Myslinski. We'll go in there and play that right guard slot.
But it's comforting to know that Helly is ready.
Well, Helly's like a baseball. You got a batter up. Myslinski is up, and Helly's on deck.
Helly's on deck.
And that is comforting. Said he lost weight too, but he hit the wall, so he's going to stay where he is right now.
Three-man rush from the Cardinals. And Aikman had an open man. It was Ernie Mills who had it slip through his hands. The Cowboys will have to punt.
Remember Ernie Mills and that injury that he had last year, and it was kind of reminiscent of that play right there, coming across the field and got hit right there in the stomach, and he had surgeries and problems that he said he just found out a week or so ago all the problems he really had.
He didn't know how seriously he was injured, but he's been doing very well. Going short kick. Cody. There's Helly. Hellestray made the snap perfectly and made the tackle. Made it look easy.
You can never underestimate the strength of a snapper.
And that's the end of the third quarter with the score of the Dallas Cowboys 20.
He's played guard. And you can see that that's not very good here.
On the last play of the third quarter, the foul was on number 44, the receiving team, for holding. While the kick was in the air, we enforced the penalty at the commercial break.
Okay, thank you. J.J. McCleskey is number 44. And the line of scrimmage now for the Cardinals is back at their own 19 after all those things.
Myslinski, who has to play now, is starting to get some pass protections and some shivers and stuff, getting his swerve on, getting his game on.
Another one who fills out the suit pretty good.
He has to, with a name, that many letters in your name, you have to have a big old back.
Here comes Jake Plummer, running again, throwing again out of bounds, incomplete.
Yeah, you get the feeling that after Jake Plummer throws the ball every time that it hurts his thumb.
Yeah.
And just the way he kind of grabs or shakes it right after the throw.
2 interceptions, 11 for the year. Completion percentage today of 40.2.
You just, with a guy like Jake Plummer, he's going to be a great player, and you just hope that these types of things don't break him.
Morrell. Sprained right knee is the word on Tony Hudson. Will not return. You know, we were talking to Jake yesterday. He kept talking about we have a lot of young players. So what the heck? You're 24. What's young?
24 in your third year. And you're talking about young guys, but we're talking about all the things in in free agency and injuries, and the Cardinals are one of those teams that were very close. They took a step up last year. They've taken 3 steps backwards.
Pass caught by Cody. Cody will move the sticks.
Yeah, that was one of the guys that Vince Tobin and Mark Trestman and even Jake Plummer were talking about is seeing Cody in the game because he's different from all their other receivers. Rob Moore is a big guy. Frank Sanders is a big guy. Andy McCullough, David Boston, the #1 draft choice, and Matt Cody is a little guy.
But a quick guy. It's Morrell. Herded out of bounds by Deion Sanders.
And the thing with the Cardinals is if you can't get the running game going, then it's really tough because there's only one pass receiver and they just kind of gang up on him, and that's what the Cowboys have been able to do. First they shut down the run. The Cardinals go with no huddle here, and then they just key everything on Jake Plummer
and Frank Sanders. Plummer going deep. Flag on the play. People on the ground.
They're going to call that on defense. He was trying to get a deep one to Matt Cody. Now, usually, if their feet just tangle up, they usually don't call that. But there has to be a push in order to call this one.
25, defense, automatic first down.
Charlie Williams. After Kevin Mathis went down with an injury early, Williams took his place.
Well, you see right there, I don't know.
I don't know about that either.
I think he had his hand up earlier, but I think their feet did get tangled up, and I don't know that should have been pass interference.
I don't think so.
We were just talking. That's one thing that they're not calling pass interference as tightly as they used to. Like they did there.
Gets the pass to Johnny McWilliams.
Johnny McWilliams, remember, he was a starting tight end for the Cardinals last year.
Yep.
He was beaten out this year by Terry Hardy, but he still plays a lot because they use a lot of 2 tight ends.
He shared time last year with Chris Gedney.
Gedney played a lot, kind of as a receiving tight end.
McWilliams was more the blocking tight end. There's Morrell. Shakes one tackler. Knocked out of bounds by Mobley.
You don't see the Cowboys today have been tackling very well, and that wasn't one of those situations that that they come up and they missed a couple tackles on that one. That's what Dave Campo there, the defensive coordinator, even having Deion Sanders back, he has a little more bounce in his step.
Yes,
you notice that?
Yeah.
A little more confidence in his calls, and I mean, it's amazing what one guy can do to change a whole bunch of things.
Here's Plummer lofting the ball deep, and the pass is caught by Michael Pittman. Ball was thrown short. Pittman came back for it. The Cowboy defender never saw it.
The funny thing is the Cardinals are still working, to the right side. Everything away from where Deion would be, and I don't think that Deion's even in there. I don't think Deion's even playing. But you can see that, that we talked about, Jake Plummer's thumb and how it's bothering him, and it's just not the same. And he's not even throwing spirals.
Morrell on first down, hammers down to about the 13-yard line before he stopped.
But Deion Sanders isn't in there now. We're just talking about that. I think Kenny Wheaton is playing over there on that right side. And I don't know that the Cardinals know that yet. They're still staying away from Deion. and there's no reason to. I mean, now might be a pretty good time to go over there and work on that left side, because they were still working over here on this side. Charlie Williams, I don't know that I wouldn't try something out there. I don't think they've thrown the ball to David, or David Boston hasn't caught a ball today, has he?
Dwayne Hawthorne on the other side of the defensive back. Here's Morrell, and Morrell stays on his feet and bangs it down to about the 3-yard line. Adrian Morrell. The Cardinals got him from the Jets.
And that was Hawthorne who was in on that tackle there. And you see, maybe they did discover there that, you know, we can get over there in that left side, and maybe we can find some things we want to do, because there's not a lot of great tackling. And
Morrell gets a rest. Mario Bates, who is their short yardage runner, takes his place as the I-back, the deep back. And Jake Plummer has called a timeout for the Cardinals. Dallas leading 28-7. Just
key with Glenn, which it has always been, staying healthy. He has that tag, that label around the NFL of dealing with a lot of injuries. Ronnie Powell was spilled down as he crossed the 20-yard line for a 17-yard return, and Jerry Ellison, the newest Patriot, making the tackle on special teams. Friday on CBS, it's the story of a working-class guy who falls for a... The culture clash begin when Love and Money premieres Friday at 8:30, 7:30 Central on CBS. So the Browns now trailing 19-7. Just underway here in the fourth quarter. Kirby and Edwards in the backfield. Second man, it's Kirby. Bouncing off one tackler as he moves ahead to the 30-yard line. And a gain of 6.5 on first down. Edwards.
Bill Cowher knows what's coming in both instances and has to agree to it.
Well, it was a year ago when they went into a 5-game losing streak to end the season that Ray Sherman became the focal point of enormous criticism as the offensive coordinator with this franchise. He resigned, is now the offensive coordinator at Minnesota. And Gilbride is the third coordinator in as many years here in Pittsburgh. On third down, Brunell pumps, slides, dives.
In the middle, they wanted him to play Will Backer, and he was going to compete with Teddy Bruschi this year, but the injury to Ted Johnson, he's playing in the middle. And talking to head coach Pete Carroll, he said, we just want him to be consistent game to game, not the ups and downs and peaks and valleys of a rookie.
Well, we're starting to see that consistency from Andy Katzenmoyer, playing that middle linebacker position with a rock-solid Ted Johnson, who's injured. Couch tried to scramble.
Dallas.
Yeah, it all happened right there.
Oh, a lot of conniving. On first down, Plummer lost the ball, dropped it, and I think the Cowboys have it back. Maybe he's still alive. Greg Ellis. Greg Ellis still running. He had one long run for a touchdown against Atlanta. Greg Ellis
has another one. Unbelievable. Get the oxygen out.
Oh,
he just ran 100 yards. They ought to put a clock on him. You know, they always talk about 100-yard dash time. I wonder what Greg Ellis's 100-yard dash time was.
I don't know, but he made it. That's a remarkable thing that he made it.
I know, and he had a little swerve on him. I mean, he made some moves as he went down the field.
He had a cutback at the end.
Yeah, there were some missed tackles and stuff. Dion is saying that should have been mine.
Let's get a time on this.
But watch him here. Here he picks it up. Now he's going to run a 100-yard dash in what? We're going to get a clock. We got this looks pretty good. Because he's still got to move here. You got to cut back. Again, cut back right there.
Behind Darren Wilson.
Now put the speed on and then just flop into the end zone. We put a clock on that, but it was 15 seconds. He run the 100-yard dash in 15 seconds.
That won't get him in the Olympics, but it might get him in the All-Madden team.
Oh yeah, and I mean it'll get him in some sprinters, like shot putter sprint or something.
That's the Cowboys' longest fumble return ever in the history of the franchise.
That was a heck of a play.
Chuck Howley had the record with a 97-yard return. Ellis 98.
Ultimately led to the only touchdown of the game. Here's Brunell. Throws it away. You think about that with the
$23,000.
At Transamerica, we have insurance products and investments for retirement that'll help you plan for your next.
First quarter, and on 4th and 6 from the 36-yard line. Mark Brunell. This is the 4th down play in the first quarter. A gain of 14 yards.
Almost sacked in his backfield and stayed alive. Other than that, though, there hasn't been a whole lot of action here out of this Jaguars offense.
Here's the handoff, and they get.
What you see today here from Cleveland. Little double dip in the Cleveland area with the Cleveland Indians also in action this afternoon. And an expected 100,000 plus type of traffic with Jacobs Field just down the road. 12:56 to play in the fourth. New England with a 19-7 lead. They will be content running the football.
159.
Them up.
In 5 days.
He's going to jut his jaw, stick it in there. Got pressure on Drew Bledsoe, a couple of sacks. He's been all over the field relentlessly, making tackles close to the line of scrimmage down the field to play. He wanted to
5-7. Here's the play again. The touchdown by Ellis.
Right between Jake Plummer's hands and hits him in the chest. Greg Ellis picks it up, but you know, it was Darren Woodson was right there with him, and he blocked Mario Bates, who was there, because all he had to do when he was down is be touched, and the ball would have been down there. No one touched him, but Darren Woodson said, "Get going," and he ran that 100-yard dash in 15 flat. That's going.
And Cody on the kickoff return. Now, Greg Ellis had an interception return against Atlanta. Now he's just had a 98-yard fumble return.
This is a one against Atlanta. Remember, this was just on Monday night. It was just or 2 weeks ago. And he just took off with this thing. And he's running pretty good there.
It's a night game.
Yeah, that was the Monday night game. Yeah, where he did that, and then here he just took this one and ran. I don't know. They gave him 98, but to me, he was right there on that end zone. We timed him from the goal line to goal line.
15 seconds. And you know who made the block down at the other end of the field? The last one that sprung him? Darren Woodson.
Well, Darren Woodson was the guy who got him started with the first block, and then finished him off with the second block and allowed for him to make that great cutback move. He's a football player. You know, I mean, if you didn't know when you came down, you said, you know, who's a football player? What's a football player look like? What's a football player do? How's a football player act? You point to number 28, Darren Woodson. He's one.
He's one you like to start with. And I think you'd be able to finish with him as well. Terry Hardy makes the reception.
You know, we were talking about Darren Woodson in the block. You see, he's going to get right there. And he's going to make the block right there. Right there's the block right there. And that allows Greg Ellis to cut back. But he stayed with it. You know, a lot of guys, you know, it's a hot day and you're ahead and all this, and you don't have to run the distance there. And there's a lot of guys that didn't even make the picture. But the guys that did are the special ones.
Here's Jake Plummer back to throw and throws out to his tight end Hardy, who gets the first down, lowers his head.
The Cowboys drafted Greg Ellis, and there was a controversy, you know, should they draft Randy Moss or Greg Ellis, and now they're kind of going, you know, head to head for touchdowns. Greg Ellis has 2, and I think Randy Moss has 4.
Yeah. But Greg Ellis are longer.
Greg Ellis isn't playing now. He's still recovering from that run.
Now for an update, let's go again to Joe Buck in Los Angeles.
All right, Pat, the Bucks and Trent Dilfer trying to make noise of their own in a loud Metrodome. Riedel Anthony, a 27-yard touchdown catch over Ramus McDonald, makes it 21-14. Tampa Bay with the ball back. 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Somewhere Terry Bradshaw is smiling. Back to Dallas, Pat and John.
Where you going?
Back at Texas Stadium, Dallas is smiling. 35-7, second and 9 for the Cardinals, and Jake Plummer drops again. Ricochet is picked off by Dat Nguyen, the rookie from Texas A&M. And again, Jake Plummer intercepted.
Yeah, Dat Nguyen is one of those rookies that the Cowboys really like now. He's just playing on these special situations. Here you see the ball bounce right back, and it just comes off of Charlie Williams, I think. It hits Williams right there. It just goes up in the air. He can't get it, but Dat Nguyen does.
The clock continues to move now with under 11 minutes to play in the fourth.
If Cleveland wants to get back in this game, they really need to score on this drive, get some points out of it. But total yards, look at this. Wow. The Patriots have really come alive since the first quarter.
Terry Kirby in the backfield on a 2nd down and 3. Here's Couch with a deep drop. Couch trying to lead his receiver.
From behind, there's Brackens. Cordell with no idea that he's got that kind of pressure coming from the backside, and a very fine job of him covering up the football. Luckily for Pittsburgh, it didn't bounce any farther away.
3rd and 22. Here's Stewart out of the end zone.
There's
this one that goes through his hands, and it's loose in the end zone.
That'll be a safety.
Out of bounds. That should be.
A 3-receiver look out of the shotgun. It's Couch. Here come the Pats on a blitz. Couch spinning away from the pressure and forced to slide down. Wanted a late hit. No flag as
walked away from the accident.
Down for Cleveland.
This is the second week we've had the Browns. It's the first time I've seen Tim Couch slide. Usually tries to take off and run with the ball and nail somebody, but he saw the defense of the New England Patriots coming at him, saw big Teddy Bruschi at the end of the play, got nailed in the back of the head and looking for a flag.
Would you say that was Kosar-esque?
Little hook slide at the end.
Dat Nguyen just intercepted a deflected Jake Plummer pass. And believe me, it's still hot on the sideline. The old cheesehead, what's he doing here?
It'll be a grilled cheese in a minute.
Gives to Warren.
Yeah, there's only one bit of sun now, and they're all fanning themselves. It's that left end zone.
South end zone, yeah.
Because this side is in shade now, and that right end zone is in. But that end zone there, that's the only sun. Look at those people.
Some of the seats have just fans left. People have left.
Yeah, but they ought to get some special thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Jerry Jones, for as big-hearted as he is, ought to give those people something special. No, they really should. I mean even if you just go pour something on him. I mean, see if Jerry knew about it.
I don't know if he has that in mind or not.
Jerry, look to your left. See that, like that.
Yeah.
Okay, now
There
just
they
look up there and look at those people up there. I mean, just buy them some water, pour something on them, do something for them, because they're very, very special fans. Look, they're waiting for something.
Boy, that's loyalty.
They expect a candy bar, they may get a baked potato.
Yeah. Boston against Cleveland. The Indians can score some runs. So can the Red Sox. 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 Pacific. Game 1 of that series. The playoffs begin. Game 2 will be Thursday night, same time. 8 o'clock Eastern. That'll be the Texas Rangers and the New York Yankees, the defending champions. 2nd and 8. Warren, first down.
You know, a guy that does a good job is Hudson Houck, the offensive line coach of this Cowboy team. That he always has good offensive lines. And just watch, you know, we talk about a guy pulling and Larry Allen. Larry Allen is the best pulling guard in football. He may be the best pulling guard of all time. A guy that can run out there, hit a guy, run through him, and never leave his feet.
Is there anything that he doesn't do well?
No. He's the best. I mean, to me, Larry Allen is the best offensive lineman in all of football. But see, when he hits a guy, I mean, he hits him with a short punch and like knocks him out. I mean, they fall to the ground. You know, like like a short heavyweight punch. Boom. You know, like George Foreman used to hit or something.
Like you say, it doesn't look like much, but
no. But
2 new.
40 to go. Well, Jacksonville's biggest problem today offensively was that they were playing Pittsburgh.
You know, injuries, he puts new guys in, he puts rookies in, and they all have, you know, great technique. They all know their assignments. And you see Hudson, I mean, he's an old line coach, and line coaches don't like to carry a lot of stuff around, so they just put it on their arms. Look, I mean, you got plays on this arm, you got plays on this arm, they got papers here. You're always studying. I mean, the game was 35-7, and he's still seeing where those guys are, so that he can coach his guys up for 5 more minutes of football.
The one thing that the Cowboy linemen all seem to have in common, and they do well, and that is use their hands and arms. They do a lot of work with the medicine ball. There's Chris Warren. Today's game is being produced by Bob.
Remains second down.
Charlie McDonald and Mark Mata. Technical producer is Bob Mueller. Pre-game show was produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. Pre-game show, of course, is here at Texas Stadium. Senior producer is Bill Brown. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gordon and David Hill, both of whom were here in Dallas this weekend.
Can't beat having the whole gang here, huh?
A whole bunch. Warren lost it. He hit the ground, but the ground can't cause a fumble.
Yeah,
down.
And they're saying that he was down, and the thing is they got him beaten down now. I mean, you know, we talk about, you know, domination in the offensive line or defensive line, and this offensive line and the makeshift offensive line has really dominated this Cardinal defense the whole time, and now they have him worn down, and then, you know, Chris Warren is just reaping some of that reward from that.
Cowboys scoring a lot of points this year. They got 35-41 against Washington.
I think you know, 2 of those things is they played Washington, not a pillar of strength on defense, and the Cardinals
and Atlanta. They score a lot of points against Atlanta.
Atlanta has a good defense, though. But you know, you talk about, you know, stuff that everyone has, and look what Vince Tobin. I have no idea what he has on that clipboard. There aren't many coaches that still carry a clipboard around, but Vince Tobin is one of those.
That's got some thick writing on it.
I mean, that's an old clipboard. That clipboard has seen a lot of football.
That's got some close together stuff on it.
But it hasn't had you know, as many bad days as this one.
Jan Gailey, on the other hand.
Of course, when you're up 35-7, you don't need as many materials.
The handoff again is to Warren. Warren is caught from behind and stopped by Tommy Bennett.
Warren better take better care of that ball.
Yeah.
I know it's at the end of the game, and it's 35-7, and you know, and he's a 10-year vet and all that stuff, but you still can't practice flopping that thing out there in the turf.
Gives you an idea of what the players, when they look through the roof and the sun comes in and they can't see the ball, I guess that gives you an idea.
What, to see cheerleaders?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't looking at the cheerleaders. I was looking through the cheerleaders.
Oh, I thought you were looking at cheerleaders. So that's what they said.
Warren.
Floyd. Patriots going with that.
I think they know that the game's over. They don't want to get anyone hurt. They just want to, you know, get it over now and keep the clock running. So they'll the clock will automatically stop at the 2-minute warning here.
Timeout Arizona has stopped it though before it gets to the 2-minute warning.
No, there's no reason. There's no reason for Arizona to take a timeout. I mean, there's no plays that you have that scored 28 points in a couple of seconds.
Don't forget the 1999 Division Series begins.
On a 2nd and 8, Brown the motion man, handoff Lamont Warren, and the Browns were ready.
Inside the 5 for Brian Barker this afternoon.
Now that's, from a punting perspective, that's nirvana. That's as good as it gets. Unfortunately for Pittsburgh, they can't even see the other end zone.
This is the 3rd time they've started to drive inside the 2. Here's Stewart. Caught, dropped, and that'll be another save.
Operating at that position right now, efficient in the.
Yeah.
Bledsoe. And Lamont Warren did not see the football coming, so the Patriots.
That field goal, so
Tangeli's
saying, what in the heck was that? You know, these are the guys that did the job today. Flozell Adams is a new left tackle, did an excellent job over there. Larry Allen, to me, is the best.
Those two guys are huge.
Yeah,
both of them.
And then I think when we talk about Ismail was a big addition. The other big addition was Mark Stepnoski, the center. I mean, he really, to me, he kind of solidified this offensive line.
Second tour of duty with Dallas. He was here, then went to the Oilers, and now he's back.
And then Tony Hudson took Everett McIver's place, and Solomon Page, the rookie, did an excellent job at right tackle today.
Yes, he did.
There's old Step right there, the old center.
Stepnoski and Muslinski together.
And that looks like a Stepnoski and Muslinski together talking football. I would love to have a tape recording of that conversation.
What are we going to do about Step's hair?
Let it grow. What the heck? So what? I mean, let Step be Step. That's what he says. He says no matter what happens, he told me the other day, I was talking to him on Friday, he said no matter what happens, I'm always the last to know.
Nobody told me about it, he said.
No one told, but it's the hair thing. I mean, long hair, no one told Step yet. He didn't. He's the last to hear. No one told him people don't do much anymore.
Muslinski might tell him. 2 minutes left.
What?
To help.
Maltz, not the first, not the second, but the 3rd, and directed by Joe Assetti, and you know there's only one of them. Our associate director is Marcy Kempner, our broadcast associate Wayne Wilson, technical producer Marvin Kale. The studio show is produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The associate director is Jennifer Love. Senior producer is Bill Brown, and the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill.
You know, Dick Vermeil, when he went to Philadelphia back in 1978, was 9-19 his first.
Talk about getting to the middle of the field. They had the coverage they wanted. Riddell Anthony just ran with it. Now that he was at the 42, right there. 35. They keep going all the way back. First down and 15 at the 40. Dilfer going up top for Jacquez Green, and that pass.
And he is brought down as he gets 11 on the play. First.
And savings right now. Go safely. Go Midas.
Now without a prescription, Lamisil AT for athlete's foot. So powerful, it cures with just 1 week's use. These take 4. So powerful, 3 months later, you're still athlete's foot free. Lamisil AT, the best way to cure athlete's foot.
In just 5 days, the creator of the X-Files brings you the ultimate mind game. Harsh Realm series premiere.
Cleveland offense has been dormant basically since the first quarter. Couch operating, throwing, low. Shepard claims he caught the football.
Picture.
Look at the happiness of Troy Aikman. I mean, that's about as much as he shows, but he does that all the time. I mean, he goes and, thanks everyone, thanks his receivers, thanks his linemen.
Dave Brown is the quarterback for the Cardinals now.
Dave Brown's pass completed at 32.
Look at this. This is one of the things that the Cowboys wanted to work on this year is be better at takeaways on defense. Look at 97. They only had 16. They had 26 all of last year. And so far this year in just 3 games, they have 10 takeaways.
People wonder, how do you work on takeaways?
I think you just become aware of it. I think that success breeds success. You get momentum. Those kinds of things. You think about it. You do it. You go for them.
Brown to Pittman. Out of bounds.
And then once you start to get them, that snowballs, and then the other team knows that you do it. To me, that's what got the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl last year. I mean, you look at the Atlanta Falcons and say, where in the heck did these guys come from? And they led the league in 2 areas. One was in turnovers, getting turnovers, and 2 was in time of possession. They have Dave Brown in there with his name in its entirety. Taking Jake Plummer out of there.
Pass caught by David Boston. They think that in time, David Boston will be one of the premier receivers in the NFL.
Yeah, he's a local guy from
Dallas.
Dallas. His sister is his agent. His
Right.
sister's a lawyer. His father, David Boston's father, is an NFL official. Oh, there's a hit. Look out for that.
Fans making their way to the exits. 9th punt.
There's a rule in there that if you're an official, you can't officiate a game that your son plays in. But then if he were chosen to do a playoff game and the Cardinals happened to be in the playoff, they wouldn't take him out of the game.
Only happened one other time in the history of the NFL. 3rd and 4. Brown back to throw. Pass intercepted by Darren Hambrick.
Go the other way.
Hey. Looking for someplace to go, and he's finding someplace to go. Flag on the play.
One thing Hambrick doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of plays, but when he does make one and get the ball, he has a celebration.
He knows how to celebrate.
He's been working on that dance.
Well, we had about 10 Elvises at the half. Maybe he just picked it up at halftime.
It's going to be against the Cowboys, but I think it's still going to be their ball because it was post possession.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, sideline interference. The official ran into a coach in the white area. It's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. The intercepting team will keep the ball, 1st down.
Oh, you don't see that very often. But you know that white area, everyone has to stay off out of the white area. In fact, most teams have what they call a get-back coach to keep people out of that area. And you see that white line there? Now, as the official runs down there, somewhere he's going to run into a coach. It's not that official because there's no coach down there. It had to happen up on the other side of it. And Gailey's probably saying, where was the get-back coach, or who was the coach, or who was the guy that did it?
Denver defeated New York en route to their 2nd consecutive
play, Pat.
Is that in that list of reviewables? They are going to review it.
Well, the thing, there hasn't been as many as people thought, and I think the thing's working.
Woman who thought.
And as I said before, the pile is open. It's easy to pile on it, but I kind of like the way it's going thus far.
Now the Cowboys,
they're just going to kneel
are
down.
just going to run out the clock.
Another week to possibly get his first pro win under his belt. Browns are home for Cincinnati next week. On a quick throw for Tony Simmons.
38-10. It's the first time since 1995 that they've been 3-0.
That has to be the biggest surprise in the league.
Oh yeah, their performance, not only their performance, but how convincing it's been. The big scores they've been winning by.
Yeah, and where'd that quarterback come from? I mean, Kurt Warner. Who's this guy, Kurt Warner, already?
Arena football.
And then we see Jason Garrett here. We talked about fathers and brothers and stuff. Jason Garrett's brother, John Garrett, is a coach of the Cardinals.
This is Pat Summerall from for John Madden and DJ Johnson saying so long from Texas Stadium, where once again the final score is the Dallas Cowboys 35, the Arizona Cardinals 7. Be sure to stay tuned to Fox Sports for our post-game show with JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris. Then from Los Angeles, Joe Buck and Ron Pitts will have scores and highlights from around the league and be joined by